Best laid plans of mice and men. Just when you think to yourself, "Hey, let's start the broadcast live, the live stream early. Let's start it at 6 o'clock, so that we can talk about all the moves that the Chiefs have made and talk about the roster and what's next." And it's 6:02, and we still don't know all the transactions yet. Welcome to the world of Matt, Derrick, and Chiefs Digest. If you're looking at my eyes darting all around, you will see this because I'm checking every source I got to see if we have any moves yet. Last year I'm just going to share, there was a tricky way that I was able to find the roster moves early, and I've tried that little maneuver again this year, and it still lists all 94 players on the roster. So guess that one won't work. But we're going to try. I tell you what, we're going to do. We will go through, because we're going to power on, because as Luttrell points out very correctly, hooray, hooray, it is Q&A day. And Steam Demon, it wasn't a typo. I had a real plan for doing this, and coming in, and like I said, getting off to a great start and just being able to go right into it and not have to make everybody wait until 7 o'clock, talk about all the roster moves and what's going on. And yet here we are. So pretty good chance that one of you will see the roster before I do. So I'm trying my best. We'll see. I've got my email notification, although I don't know about the rest of you, but typically my Google email notifications can come in anywhere from instantaneously to like 25 minutes later. So if I get the email notification of the roster being out, great. I might get it 12 minutes later, though, so who knows? But I say let's plug on. Nick, our good friend Nick Jacobs, is going to be in here later to help save me at some point from myself talking about all of this. And I know for a fact we're going to have the roster live during the show, because the NFL will put out their roster transaction report probably any time now. So the Chiefs should be absolutely not far behind that with their moves. We can obviously talk about some of the moves that have already been made, and I know there are already some questions about what's already going on. And tell you what, we'll just start at the top. Chiefs Kingdom Jeremy had a question in from Twitter. Are they going to announce it in Brazil? LOL, I'm still waiting on you to do cartwheels. I actually thought you had a Brazil question when I first read that question, Jeremy. So excellent, well played. Kudos to you. Support this. Mitchell, are the Chiefs hiding worthy in preseason so other teams won't know what's coming, or are they going to underutilize their first round draft pick that they traded up for? No, they are not going to underutilize Xavier Worthy. I think you can take that to the bank. So I thought that the Chiefs, frankly, were hiding a little bit of Brashard Smith until the preseason finale, and then you got to see a little bit of what he's going to be doing in the passing game. Sorry, trying to get my face out of the question a little bit. So you got to see a little bit of what he's going to be doing in the passing game against the Bears, but no, Worthy, don't worry. I mean, you only saw the first team offense for 23 snaps, Mitchell. So don't stress out too much. Xavier Worthy is going to be a big part of this offense, and he's going to make some plays. There is absolutely no doubt about that in my mind. Oh yeah, I think probably somebody already did this, because somebody told me last week what the crowns mean. I can't remember what it is though. Someone in the chat did tell us what the crowns were. So, there you go. Luttrell shows your top fan in the Yahoo chat app. I have no idea how to do all that. So I am trusting all of you. I don't think I have anything to do with it. Maybe there's a button somewhere that press that makes it happen. I don't know, but I can't see the crowns. So, it's weird. Hey, Nikki, is Weird Games already over? Oh, and I hear Herbie Tiopi is now is telling me to stop with all the ums just as soon as I say an He caused that one. So All right, now I have to be a little bit more cautious now that Herbie's listening to me, and I have to watch my fillers and anything like that that might pop in. So as we wait for the roster. Last year, I believe, Nikki, that we were looking it up. I think the Chiefs put their roster out at 6:00. So we're already behind that. So we got that going for us. It could have been later. I mean, I think that one year the Chiefs put it out at like 6:45. So let's see. Oh, you're getting all of the behind the scenes stuff now. I'm getting told that the broadcast is not going through on Facebook. So we may have to retry that. Oh. Let's see here. For those of you on Facebook, we'll try and restart that and see what happens. Let's see. All right. Hey, you know what? Everything's going perfect tonight on this live stream for discussing the roster, considering that it's not going out on Facebook and we have no roster. So I can't think of anything better. I mean, Herbie is watching. I mean, Herbie, I can send you an invite if you want to join in the podcast, and therefore you can call me out on all my shenanigans. That sounds like something you would like to do. Jackson, do you think people are sleeping on Hollywood Brown? I feel like he has been barely mentioned this off season. I don't know if I would call it that. I mean, it could be Jackson. I mean, Hollywood could go out there and have a great season. I mean, he puts up 800, 900 yards and like number 2 receiver. I mean, if he's the team's leading receiver, I think you would definitely say he's sleeping on it. I think a lot of that's, I'm sure, because of the ankle foot injury that kept him out, because we just didn't get to see much of him in the preseason. Didn't get to see a ton of him in training camp either. What you got to see during training camp was impressive. So I think that especially when Hollywood, Rashee, and Xavier are all in the field at the same time, they're going to be scary. So maybe there's a little bit of that, Jackson, just because, like I said, you haven't seen a lot of Hollywood. Maybe people are sleeping on him. It could just be reasonable expectations. I mean, if you're thinking Hollywood's going to go out and have a 1,200 yard season, then I mean, if he does, then he's going to live up to it. But I just think he's going to be one of the guys. I think Rashee's going to be this team's top receiver. We'll see how many games he misses with the potential suspension. I think Xavier is going to be number 2. Hollywood's probably going to be number 3. And if he's anything more than that, then I think you could absolutely say that probably people slept on him. If he ends up being that number 3, number 4 receiver, it's just expectations met. So let's see what happens. Terry, a lot of former Chiefs release taking bets on a reunion. Well, you already got Derrick Nottie. I know there's a few others that hit the waiver wire today and have been released. I don't know how many other reunions that the Chiefs are looking forward to. I know there's a couple places that they would still love to get some upgrades, love to get another running back, love to get maybe another corner, and they'll see what else is out there. But I don't know if I've seen any former Chiefs that have hit the wire that I would say, okay, that's what the Chiefs need. I'd still be in the market for a defensive tackle if I were them, especially with Omar Norman Lott being dinged up with that ankle sprain. But we'll see what happens. But we'll have to find out where the roster sits first. So, and Herbie has not told me that he has the roster yet. So at least I'm feeling pretty good about that. Mark, which positions are top priority at this stage, do you think? And I'm assuming you're talking about, Mark, from an upgrade standpoint. Like I said, I mean, the 3 for sure that they're going to be looking for still are running back, cornerback. I still say defensive tackle, even with the addition of Derrick Nottie. Nottie is an upgrade from where they were sitting at just a few days ago. So, I mean, that's a little bit, I think, if you're a Chiefs fan, it's a little bit of disappointment because it's telling you that Marlon Tuipulotu and Fabian Lovett didn't really develop the way that they wanted to. They haven't found anybody else to take over those roles. So I think that's got to be a little bit frustrating as a Chiefs fan. That nothing against Derrick Nottie, but if you're turning to Derrick Nottie at this point, then, and this was asked to me by Seren Petra today on Sports Radio 810, if you're doing this, Does this mean something went wrong with your plan? Because you could have signed Derrick Nottie a few months ago. You could have signed him during the offseason. You could have signed him during free agency. So why did you let him walk if you're going to need him? And yeah, I do think that maybe the Chiefs thought that they were going to be able to get a one tech in the draft. Maybe they thought that Marlon Tuipulotu and Fabian Levitt would develop more. They just didn't. So, yeah, I do think that there was a little bit of things that just went wrong during the offseason, and that's why they went out and got Derrick Nottie. And that's why I think that it's still a position of need, because Mike Pennell, which, looks like Mike Pennell is not going to start the season on the 53. That may just be a logistical maneuver if it happens. So don't freak out. I think he will still be back. But it just underscores, once again, that defensive tackle is a position on this team that they absolutely need to upgrade. Brandon, Brashard Smith, realistic expectation. Man, Brandon, I don't know if I can give you a realistic expectation of Brashard Smith, because my expectations are not reasonable at all. I think this dude is going to have just some great moments in the passing game. And I don't even think you saw the full effect, because you saw the catch, the drop that he had against Chicago. He was catching that ball 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10 times in St. Joe. Now he's dealing with that dislocated finger right now, and I absolutely think that injury affected the catch. So when he's fully healthy again and that hand is not bothering him, he catches that ball. I was surprised, like I alluded to earlier, I was kind of surprised that the Chiefs put any of this throwing the football to Brashard Smith thing on film for the preseason, because I think they want to come out and surprise some people with it. But they're going to put Brashard Smith in the backfield. They're going to split him out wide. They're going to try and get him lined up on a linebacker, and he's just absolutely going to roast some people. He's going to do that against some corners too, because with his background as a receiver, he's a better route runner and pass catcher than I think a lot of opponents are going to realize. Unless they do their scouting reports early, he's going to catch some people sleeping. And out of the backfield, as a pass catcher, once again, you talk about him on a linebacker, complete and total mismatch. He is. I mean, I go back to the 2017 season, and when Kareem Hunt started coming out, and some of those plays that he made, like even especially that touchdown catch against the Patriots in the season opener. Brashard Smith is going to have some like 70, 80-yard touchdowns this year on plays just like that he's going to get lined up against the linebacker. He's going to take advantage of that mismatch, and with his speed, he's just going to be gone. Is it going to be a 1,000-yard runner or a 1,000-yard receiver? No. I mean, he's going to be used somewhat sparingly, barring injuries, but they're going to sprinkle him in, and his speed is game-changing. So I am of the philosophy that I think he's going to have more receiving yards than receiving yards rather than rushing yards this year. But realistic, I mean, I think the dude's capable of at least 400 yards receiving and maybe a half dozen touchdowns. Maybe grossly unrealistic, he may have a lot less than that. Maybe it isn't making much of an impact at all. Maybe it's just on special teams as a returner, but I think he's going to get some opportunities. And like I said, I mean, and what we saw in St. Joe in training camp, this dude's capable of some things. Is he ready to be a number one running back, down in and down out, all 3 downs? No. He's got some work to do as a runner. But he can do some things outside zone that the Chiefs haven't been doing the last few years. He can do some things if he gets up to speed in the screen game. I mean, they can find some ways to utilize his speed, where I think that Brashard Smith's just going to, like I said, he's going to roast some people. Let's see. I will go ahead and address this, Chris. What fan base do you think sanctioned the? No, let's not get into that. I mean, I'm sure that the Occam's razor here, the bullet that hit the facility in Andy Reid's office in May of 2024, I am certain was just some ne'er-do-wells ne'er-do-welling. I mean, that's the simplest explanation. I don't think there was anything else to it. Now, why didn't the news not break before this until now? Believe it or not, some of those things happened. Now, was it just not put on the police blotter? Did just some folks working the police blotter that night in the local newsrooms not see it? Those things happen. So I don't. I'm not necessarily buying into there was anything nefarious, but there's certainly some questions. But hey, can it happen? I mean, at any given moment in time, something happens in Kansas City at 3 a.m. in the morning, going through the police blotter might only be like 6 people paying attention. So things like that can sneak by. So I'm not that doesn't really bother me. Now, if there were some steps taken to make sure that it didn't go public, that would bother me a little bit. And maybe there'll be some more reporting into that. We'll see if it's beyond my resources. Herbie would probably hate me for saying that, but it's not something that I'm going to be diving into about why it wasn't reported or anything like that. Maybe the Star will get into it. It's probably better suited for them. I'm not even sure if they have the resources for it these days anymore. State of journalism, unfortunately, all of us got too much on our plates. But and there's certainly, there's maybe KCUR, independent news organizations, maybe they'll get into it because it's a legitimate question. I don't know why it did not show up in May of 2024, but it's shown up now. Everybody knows about it, so we're moving on. But no, I don't think there's anything. I think it was, like I said, it was just some ne'er-do-wells, ne'er-do-welling. The roster, in your opinion, has Nico Remigio made the roster? I think he has, based on what we saw at practice today. And again, you can't take everything that you see at practice today as the gospel, because there may have very well been players on the practice field who did not make the team. There could be players who were not on the practice field who did make the team. There may be players who were on the field who are going to end up on injured reserve. We'll not know until we actually get the roster. So I'm still clicking. I should make sure that every time I get one of the questions that I'm scrolling down to the bottom to make sure that you all haven't found it. So I'm doing that right now. And yeah, Nikki, I mean, you bring up a really good point there, since just finished up talking about that yes, I mean, I know that the Star, from their telling of the story, that they had to file freedom of information requests, and the FOIA requests take forever. They can take months. So yes, once you hear about an incident and then you're trying to get the paperwork on it and everything, yes, it can absolutely. So that's why the timing of it getting missed the first time and ending up the way it did, it's not like a huge surprise to me. I am gonna try to entertain you, Don. But I guess I didn't really completely answer the Ronsters question either before I got distracted by like a squirrel over here in a quarter. Yes, I think Nico made the roster. We'll see and whether the initial 53 roster, as I point out, not the week 1 roster. There will be more changes. So question, will Nico continue to be on the roster? I think he will. I mean, he is there. Absolutely. He's their best returner. I mean, the safest returner. Brashard Smith has more upside, but Nico is just the safest one, especially sitting out there on punts. Nico's your guy. So I think, at least for the short term, yes, I think Nico is going to be on this roster for a while. John, Cooper McDonald is a great story. So excited for it. Not a question, John, but once again, you used the trick of putting the question marks in front to getting me to put it up there. But yes, great story. For those of you who haven't gotten into it, Cooper McDonald, a tryout guy back at rookie mini camp that impressed enough to get a roster spot and then ends up making the team. I mean, this is a Jody Fortson kind of moment and story. These just don't happen all the time, but Cooper McDonald has been one of those people who has cracked through, just got a crack in the door. And I talked to him after the game the other night, and that interview is on the YouTube channel, so I encourage you to go check it out. And now that he's going to be a Chief, going to learn a little bit more about him. He didn't, at the time he was in Kansas City, he did not have a backup plan. There were a lot of players have scheduled, a rookie minicamp, and especially like invite players. They have one scheduled week 1, which the Chiefs were holding their minicamp in week 1, and then week 2 was another group of NFL teams holding their minicamps. And he didn't have an invite to anywhere for week 2. So that might have been his only NFL shot. Now, maybe if it didn't work out in Kansas City, maybe he would have been able to finagle an invite somewhere else. But at the time, he didn't have a backup plan. So the fact that he came and managed to win a spot and then win a job on this team, it is an incredible story. And I can say, you know, from meeting him, he seems like a really good dude. Seems like a Kansas City kind of dude. I know he was going to be spending some time with some family that he has down in Southwest Missouri over the weekend. So that's just even more of a Kansas City dude, if you ask me. Looking forward to getting to know more about him and then meeting him in the locker room, because he does. You're right, John. He seems like a really interesting character. Luttrell's getting a star, so I can pose that question to Nick when he joins us later. Hermes, I heard that Jake Brenningstool made it. Not any word that I've heard yet. Did not see him at practice today. Could be on injured reserve to start the season. We don't know. I have not seen any news that he has not made the team, and haven't seen anything that he has been waived. So we'll see. We're still waiting. I know Herbie's still texting at me, but has not said that he's gotten the roster yet. So I guess we're still waiting on that. So we'll wait and see. Taylor Swift made the team. Yes, KSHB 12. Yes, she did. Bobby, if you had to guess, does Josh Simmons end up having a better career than Orlando Brown, Juwan Taylor, Donovan Smith, and Eric Fisher? If not, does he fall short? Wow, tough question. I mean, because a couple of those guys had some really decent careers, and if you had their careers, you'd be pretty happy. I mean, the upside and the optimism, Bobby, if he was at the top end of any of those guys, and I don't know. I mean, I would say Donovan Smith or Eric Fisher to me would be the top end of those guys. And I'd probably say Eric Fisher because Super Bowl ring and all. So let's say, I mean, if he ended up being Eric Fisher and was your left tackle for the better part of 8 years and starting left tackle and had some good years and helped you win a Super Bowl, I mean, that would be about. You get the hype, you get everybody who's, because there's he's a blank slate at this point, and with what you've seen so far, it's hard not, I think, just get sucked into the hype and chuck into, okay, hey, this guy's going to be injury free. It's all going to be rainbows and unicorns for Josh Simmons for the next decade. I mean, if I'm the Chiefs and you told me he was going to be Eric Fisher, I mean, it's hard not to take that. I mean, are the Chiefs hopeful that he's going to be even better than Eric Fisher? Yeah, they are. I mean, they truly think that they may have their left tackle and the protector of Mahomes for the rest of his career and for the next decade. And that may very well be. So if not, who does he fall short of? I mean, if he could fall short of any of them, I mean, if he wrecks that knee again or gets hurt, I mean, it's possible that he doesn't meet any of them, that he's below that. He could wreck his knee and never get a second NFL contract, which would make him below every one of these guys, because every one of these guys had a second or a third NFL contract. So that's about the best answer I can give you, Bobby. I mean, like I said, I mean, I think that if you were just asked to take a median result, I mean, you'd be kind of silly not to. I mean, if I told you he could be Eric Fisher, you'd probably take it, because once again, there's always a chance that he could blow out his knee and next year and never make a second contract, never do anything. It's just, there's bad luck. So yeah, probably a terrible answer, Bobby, but I'm gonna settle with that. I mean, I think obviously the upside is that he could be better than all those guys. The upside is definitely there. All right, finally tuned. Are the Chiefs trying to push back the Rashee Rice suspension until after the hard early games? I mean, the Chiefs really at this point, finally tuned, are out of the picture on this. I mean, do they have some influence in which they can be talking to Rashee and his agent and the NFLPA? Certainly. But at this point, it's really truly an NFLPA versus NFL Management Council decision at this point. Those are the two parties who are involved. So even Rashee is really only involved as far as his lawyers are involved. But it's an NFLPA legal and NFL Management Council legal fight at this point about what the suspension should be. Now, what Rashee has some say in, and the Chiefs could certainly be advising him and telling them what they would wish for and want, is if he does settle it and for how many games and when he does that. And I mean, I know, hey, the Chiefs in a dream scenario, they would love to have Rashee Rice for all of their AFC West games, because those are going to be important games this year as far as winning the division, to get a good playoff spot, home field, all of these things. You know, you could be in a spot this year where 11-6 isn't good enough to win the AFC West. Maybe 12-5 is not going to be good enough to win the AFC West. So that this team wants to, and Andy Reid is going to probably be more focused on divisional games this year than in past years. And there's a window there, you know, between week 1 and I think week 11, I think, is when to play the Broncos. The only thing you've got in there is in week 7 against the Raiders. That's the only other divisional game. And that probably don't need Rashee Rice to beat the Raiders, but that's the window. So, hey, if you told the Chiefs that Rashee Rice was going to get suspended after week 1 and miss 6 games, I don't think it would be something that they would hate. So I think they would probably try to sign on for that. But they really, I mean, the Chiefs don't have as much influence in this as you would think. Like I said, their influence is truly purely only an advisory at most. They can certainly tell Rashee and the NFLPA what they think, and his lawyers what they think and what they would like to see happen, and support him on that. But it's the NFLPA is going to do what the NFLPA does, and if it goes to the hearing on September 30th with the disciplinary officer, she's going to do what she's going to do, and NFL management is going to do what they do. And the Chiefs are an outside party to it. I mean, they're truly an observer, advisor at best, but they won't have a whole lot of say in what happens and when Rashee gets suspended. Like I said, they may have some wants, and they may send those wants to the NFLPA, but it's not necessarily, they're not going to necessarily get what they want. All right, Steamin' Demon. I take all questions, so I'll take them all. Let's talk about the 800-pound gorilla. I know Taylor would want a romantic venue for their wedding, but how cheesy is it to wish they had the wedding on the field at Arrowhead? Steamin', that is pretty freaking cheesy. There's nothing wrong with that. I do not judge. If you want that, I wouldn't have any problems with it. I probably wouldn't be there. I'm hoping I wouldn't have to cover it. But I wish them the best. I'm not a hater. If anything, I mean, I'm a cheese master over here. I mean, I revealed earlier today on the radio that, I mean, I love Notting Hill. I mean, I love all good romantic comedies. I mean, if you've got, you know, you got Meg Ryan in her prime, you know, hanging out with Tom Hanks or anybody like that, I am in. Julia Roberts, absolutely. The only Hugh Grant movie I will ever watch will be like Notting Hill. So I'm the cheese master. But boy, no, I would not want to. I wish them the best. Do whatever you want to do. I'm sure, knowing at least Travis the way that in the limited way that I do, and what I've seen of these two, I imagine that they're probably going to have their wedding either in, I don't know, rustic Pennsylvania and Taylor's home, or and in some sort of, you know, tropical beach locale destination wedding. Who knows? But hey, if they want to bring along 80,000, you know, friends and have it at Arrowhead, I'm sure that Mark Donovan and the Chiefs could accommodate that. So just as long as it's not during the World Cup, apparently. Chris, what is your sleeper to make the roster? You've been vacationing. You're behind. Oh, well, I'm glad you hope you had fun on your vacation, Chris. That sounds great. You know, I mean, at this point, we're almost here. I'll tell you what, there's probably going to be a player on the 53 that I certainly did not think was going to be making the 53, especially after the last couple of weeks. But Jason Brownlee out of practice today. I see the scenario. I see why he could be making this roster. was very surprised because he just seemed to disappear off the face of the earth after that back shoulder touchdown catch in the first preseason game against Arizona. And that wasn't just in the preseason games, that was also in St. Joe. It's just like all of a sudden he dropped down to back into the second team and third team rotation. And I did not understand it because it certainly seemed like that he was still in that conversation to be on this team. And it seemed like maybe that they were trying to hide him to sneak him onto the practice squad. But after seeing him at practice today, I got to assume that Jason Brownlee's either making this team or strongly in the chance of making this team, certainly in the final consideration. And that's more than I thought that you were going to see from him. I think Josh Williams is going to be making this 53, and that probably has more to do with the injury to Najee Johnson and the bad knee for Christian Fulton that you still, I mean, he got to knock the rust off the other night, but you still don't know what the long-term prognosis for him is, and he has missed some time in the past. You've had some injuries at that position in that group. So I can see why, hey, if you've got Najee that's dinged up and you got some other issues that you need to keep Josh Williams around. So even though he also, like Jason Brownlee, really kind of got buried during preseason, I think he's going to be on that initial 53. Now we'll see what happens after that, but there's still more. Perry, what was the press reaction? I think it was mostly humorous. I think because the announcement literally came off like probably 30 seconds after Andy Reid's press conference. So Andy did not get any questions about that. I guess a little bit later because it was after Xavier's too. So I apologize. I guess it was probably more like 10 minutes after Andy Reid was done. It was in time for Mike Dana, and Mike Dana just the quotes of the year on that, especially is talking about Taylor's Pop-Tarts and the deep story on that and how good they were and everything. Mike Dana gave us a solid, 3-4 minutes of material on Taylor and Travis today that I probably the best thing we heard today, even better than anything we heard from Andy. So it was entertaining. So we had some fun with it. So and like I said, everybody's I don't, it's not like I'm best friends with Travis. I mean, I know Travis and he calls me big guy. I mean, I'm not sure he knows my name. And Taylor drove past me in a golf cart at a high rate of speed once. I mean, she rode in the golf cart. She wasn't driving it. I guess I should be clear there. But hey, I wish anybody happiness. Everybody needs their romantic comedy dream come true. So good for them. Sharon, you mentioned surprises. Can you share more? Kind of what I'm talking about. I mean, we don't know. Just because you see something at practice doesn't mean that it's tells you what you think it means. Now, Mike Pennell wasn't at practice today, but it would make sense that if the Chiefs need to put a third player on injured reserve, or and this is the other issue that kind of gets lost too. If you put a player on injured reserve today, yes, that player can go straight to injured reserve and doesn't need to be on the 53-man roster. Here's the catch. If you do that, that player automatically becomes designated to return. You get 8 of those designations a year. If you use both of those today, those are 2 of your designated to returns that you're going to use. If you've got a player who you're not sure is going to be designated to return, and a guy like Jake Brenningstool might fit into that category. If you've got a guy like that, then what you have to do is have them make the 53. You release someone else who's a vested veteran who doesn't have to go through waivers. And a guy like Mike Pennell fits that example. A guy like Juju Smith-Schuster fits that example. Mike Edwards, who was released today as well, fits that example. So you can release those veterans, then tomorrow place a player on injured reserve, and it is not automatically designated to return. So you're not using one of your 8 designations. So it's a loophole. Teams love their loopholes in the NFL. So that's a distinct possibility. So is that what some of the things that we saw on the field today that may be telling us, that maybe a player was released because they're freeing up a spot for somebody else? Remember, Jalen Royals didn't practice today. Omar Norman Lott didn't practice. Jake Breeningstool was not at practice. Nazeeh Johnson was not at practice, and both of those guys have been dealing with injuries. We don't know what that means. So just what we saw at practice today doesn't tell the full picture. So let's wait and see what happens. I'm assuming we're still going to get the roster at some point. I hadn't done my refresh for a couple of minutes, so let's do that again real quick. I'm still not seeing it. Where's my? And then I'll check my email on my phone since it's buried on my browser right now. 6:37, still no email. I mean, if we hit 6:45, it's going to be a new record. So hopefully in the next 10 minutes we learn something, because it's getting kind of crazy at this point. Hey Jackie, if and when you should get to your Jackie, you're fine. You're not missing anything, because we're all still waiting for the roster to come out. JK, in Taylor Swift spirit, have you been giving us Easter eggs and other shows, vested vets like Juju and Pennell off to make room for Breeningstool and Brownlee? I guess, I mean, maybe I have been a little bit. This is what, my fourth show today, because I talk with, on Tuesdays I always talk with Pat Strathman in Wichita, 2:30ish. Talk with Seren Petro, Sports Radio 810 at 3. Then Ryan and Chris over Locked On Chiefs at 5, and then do the live stream. So this is Tuesday's always my media day. It just happened that today is practice day and roster cut day. So there's a lot going on. You're not going to have to come back tomorrow though, JK. Not tomorrow, but yes, when the roster comes out, we might have some speculation about maybe some vested vets that were released so that they can put some folks on IR. It's just the way the game is played. Chris, what are the odds Kelsey gets over 895 yards to surpass Witten on the all-time receiving yard list for number 2? Good question, because I mean, I've been saying that if Kelsey plays less this year than he did a year ago, I think his numbers could actually go up for a couple of reasons. And one is that I think last year took a lot out of Travis Kelce, and not just the playing time, not just the snap count, because the snap count was up. It was the highest snap count I think he'd had in the last 4 seasons. That's too much for a guy who's going to be 36 in October. They need to back him off so that he's going to be fresher all season. And just even that alone, I think, should make him better than he was a year ago. It's not going to completely compensate for age, but it should help. And 2, he's going to have a lot more help this year, even if, again, the Chiefs get some injuries at wide receiver. Last year, there were plenty of times that it was him and Xavier. And even then, at times, Xavier it was a rookie. He was still swimming. So, I did just get an email that the Kansas City Chiefs announced German Federal Police as an official partner. So, yeah, we got that. And also, I don't really have any good pictures to bring up. I mean, maybe I do. I can show you. Burns and McDonald's helped. Their sponsorship money now that they're a chief sponsor of the practice uniform. They are also the sponsor of the podium in the media workroom, and that thing is a work of art, because that thing's got lights all over it. I mean, it's red lights, but it's got a little nozzle in there where you can change the colors. And if you think that I am not changing the colors on that thing just to be a rascal sometime, I'm definitely doing that. So I guess I've already just given away, so that if the colors on the podium get changed, I will be blamed whether I did it or not. But I'm not going to leave any fingerprints, so you can never prove that it was me. I guess there's a bunch of cameras in there, but if there aren't any cameras in there at the room, it'll be a little bit easier. Herbie tells me that I should stop. It's a monstrosity, and he's probably right. Are we going to get the schedule, Herbie? That's what I need to know. I mean, text me if you get the schedule, Herbie, just so I'll know that. Somebody did. The schedule, the roster. I'm losing my mind, everybody. Doing one more search, one more refresh of everything. Nope, 94 players. No good. Bumba, does this team do anything normal? Why can't they just announce the 53-man roster like everyone else? When can we expect it to be announced? I mean, if it's not released in the next 5 minutes, I'm definitely. I mean, we're entering new territory. I mean, we're definitely entering new territory if it's not out in the next 5 minutes. If it's not out like by 6:47. Even the NFL transaction report. Once again, what are we doing here? I hope we're having fun. I'm trying to entertain you, so I hope I'm entertaining you. You're all making me have fun, so I hope that helps. Jeremy? Do you think Royals will be moved to IR with the knee? Distinct possibility. Andy Reid did say that I think the other guys were a little bit further ahead. Omar Norman Lott and Jack Cochran, the guys he talked about today, were a little bit further ahead than Royals. I was originally told that the Chiefs were hoping that Royals would be back before the beginning of week 1. They expected him to sit him out these two practices this week all along. Chiefs practice Tuesday and Wednesday, and then they have the mandated break from the CBA until they come to practice on Sunday, was when they begin their week. So, yes, I mean, I would expect. I was told to expect him to sit out this week. We could know today. I mean, if they end up putting him on injured reserve, then he's more going to miss the first 4 weeks of the season. Maybe that'll be necessary if that's what it takes for him to have that knee settle down and to be able to contribute later. Once again, I mean, and you'd hate to see it because it would degrade his development a little bit. But again, rookies under Andy Reid, it takes them time to fit in. I mean, I was never going to expect Jalen Royals' best work of the year to be in the first half of the season. It's going to be in the second half. You saw the same thing with Rashee Rice as a rookie. You saw it last year with Xavier. You'd love for Jalen Royals to be on the field to start to get some of that development, to be on the practice field to get some of that development. But if you need to get that knee settled down, then do it. Make sure, take care of him. Make sure that you're not putting him out there in a bad situation. Steeman Demon, with McDonald on the roster, would Edwards, being a multi-year vet, even consider the practice squad? Saw the report McDonald beat him out. I mean, and in different positions for sure. So that's a little bit, but I understand where you're going with that, Steeman Demon. Sure. There's 6 spots that you can have on the practice squad for players of unlimited experience, that they've done that now. And remember, Deon Bush has been on the practice squad the last few years in a very similar position. I mean, if Mike Edwards gets an offer to be on the 53 for another team, take it. I mean, if it's not available in Kansas City and you can be on the 53 somewhere else, absolutely take it. If your invitation is to be on the practice squad of a couple of different teams, I don't see why you don't stay in Kansas City. And that's assuming the Chiefs make the offer that they want him back. I've not seen or heard anything to the contrary. So let's assume that option is available. I mean, why wouldn't you come back to the team that's been to the Super Bowl repeatedly? Is going to be a Super Bowl contender every single year. You get to play with this team and a defense that you're familiar with and that and that you've been with through camp. There's a lot of reasons to stick around. And if there's any injuries, you're probably going to be the first guy up. You're probably going to get some at least some roster, some promotions from the practice squad to the active roster during the season, just like Deon Bush did. So yes, I mean, multi-year vets do it all the time, and Deon Bush was a great example. So it's what the player wants to do. I mean, if he wants to keep playing and practice squad's the only place to do it, I think you want to do it at the place where the best opportunity is. And I can't imagine there being a better opportunity for Mike Edwards in KC, but that's up to him. And let's see. Nope, Jedi still waiting on the roster cuts in the roster. And still waiting. Luttrell win-loss projection for this season. Getting close to the season. I have not done my official breakdown. I am gonna be doing that before next week. Probably end up getting it published over the weekend, my game by game breakdown, but I'm not going to surprise anybody. I've got the Chiefs going 13-4. It's the third straight year I feel like that the Chiefs are a 13-4 team. Last year, I think they were a 13-4 team that won 2 more games than maybe they should have and went 15-2. 2 years ago, I think they were a 13-4 team that had bad luck and went 11-6. So I'm going to keep the 13-4 train running this year. If the luck evens out both ways and there's no good, well, if the good luck and the bad luck just balances, I think this is a 13-4 team. So like I said, I'll give you my game by game breakdown over the weekend probably, but that's what I'm going with. I'll give you my little preview right there. Jackie, why wouldn't Pinnell start on the 53? Noddy is a bum compared. I think they're a little bit closer, but I get your point. Once again, it's Noddy is a little different situation. I mean, they're both vested veterans. Yes, Noddy had a contract that with the Jets and the Chiefs already made the trade, so you're not releasing Noddy and exposing any, question there. And I'm not saying that Derrick Noddy wouldn't want to come back to the Chiefs, but hey, strange things can happen when you make moves. So if you're the Chiefs, you don't want to go down that road. But because with vested vets, it does take 2 to make the deal, which is to agree that, hey, you're not going to go somewhere else, that you're going to stick around, and hey, there's always a risk, but Noddy with the trade really wouldn't be a situation. So that's why if it is a procedural move, that's why you would do it with a guy like Mike Pinnell than with Noddy and with his contract situation. I think, Edward, what do you think about bringing back Derrick Noddy? I mean, completely get it. Again, I mean, the Chiefs say are telling you with this action that they believe that Derrick Noddy is better than Marlon Tuipulotu and Fabian Lovett, and I can't argue with them. Now we'll see. The Jets obviously didn't think that Derrick Noddy was good enough for them, and they went and made a couple of trades and acquired a couple of new guys. So there's that to consider. But Chiefs feel like Derrick Noddy is an improvement, and he knows the defense. He knows, the concepts. And again, he's going to be a rotational piece. The Chiefs would plan for him to be a rotational piece along with Mike Pinnell, and conceivably, if healthy, Omar Norman Lott in that number 2 tackle position alongside Chris Jones. So, you'd be looking to get maybe 20 odd snaps plus or minus from all 3 of those guys in a rotational role. That's doable. So that's not a problem. I mean, that's a pretty good situation to have. Now, does it mean that maybe you still need a little depth at that position? And I think the Chiefs would absolutely, and maybe they'll still bring back a Lovett or a Tuipulotu on the practice squad for depth, even though they're telling you that this is not the depth that they want on the 53. It might be that they're comfortable with that depth for emergency purposes once you get into injuries. I'd imagine that they're going to be looking on the waiver wire too to see if there's what they feel like that there's some defensive tackle depth on down that they could bring in that could help them out. So we'll see what happens. But I understand why the Chiefs made the move. Is it the right one? Only time will tell. Nikki, would you say the Chiefs are using Brashard Smith as a hybrid running back wide receiver? Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to put it, Nikki. I mean, and there's going to be some absolutely times where, just like, some running backs. I mean, you'll see it with Kareem Hunt from time to time. You see it with Isaiah Pacheco. Sometimes they will just split them out, period. Not even in the backfield, just put him outside and run a receiver route. You're going to see that probably a little bit more with Brashard Smith, just because he's a good route runner. I mean, you can tell that he's previously a former wide receiver, because he's a much better route runner than most running backs. So yeah, that's a good. I mean, he really is a hybrid, and that can be scary, Nikki, because we've talked about it before. That you don't want to be a tweener, you want to be a hybrid. So you're hoping that Brashard Smith is a hybrid, and his issue is certainly not it's not a size issue with him. I mean, he's I think decently sized for either one of those spots, but hey, if he can make the full transition to being a running back, and I kind of compare him to, in that sense, to Tyreek Hill, because they're 2 players who are very similar size. Brashard's not as fast as Tyreek Hill. Most people are not as fast as Tyreek Hill, but they're very similar. They just came to this team from 2 different directions. Tyreek was a running back turned wide receiver. Brashard was a receiver turned running back. And, but I still think that the Chiefs will want Brashard Smith to be a running back full time. I mean, if you're able to put that speed in the backfield full time, that's going to be a problem. I mean, he's going to be an issue to deal with. And that's the one thing that this Chiefs team, this offense, has really missed since I mean, you have not had this kind of speed and this kind of explosion that Brashard Smith has in this backfield since Damian Williams. And Damian Williams was a difference maker. Kareem Hunt in his youth was a difference maker. Brashard Smith can do that too. And that's why, if the Chiefs, if they can find another running back, they would like to get one that they could pair with Brashard Smith, because he's the only guy with explosion and athleticism in the backfield. Pacheco and Kareem are two different kinds of runners from Brashard. So they would like to be able to have a little bit more explosion in that spot, just in case anything happens to Brashard. Steve, would Deuce Vaughn be a great practice squad addition? Oh, how old is Deuce Vaughn now? Let's see. Let me pull him up here. Maybe I'm just blanking and everything on. Maybe I just feel like it's been a while since he's been out, but I could just be completely and totally. Oh gosh, he's a lot younger than I realized. For some reason, I felt like he's been around for, I feel like he was been around for 5 or 6 years. He's only in year 3, so he'd be intriguing. Yeah, I mean, I know the Cowboys let go of him, so as a former Wildcat just texted me, he's a Wildcat. It doesn't matter. I love Herbie. He's a dear friend. I hope he doesn't mind me giving him a hard time. So I'm just pointing out, I guess, the truth that he speaks there. He's a Wildcat, so it doesn't matter. Practice squad, Steve, sign me up. See what happens. See if he fits in. See how he's doing. I would have no problem with that whatsoever. Yeah, Jackie, I could be a little wild with my projection of 400 yards for Brashard Smith, but you know what? I'm going to have some bold takes on Brashard Smith this year. I'm just saying. So, all right. I should really be going lightning round because you guys have a lot of questions tonight. We haven't even got to the roster yet, so not even out yet. So I should probably be speeding it up before Nick gets here and chastises me. So. Jeremy, you mentioned Tony Jefferson. Ryan Tracy brought me up with that today. I think the Chiefs are so happy with their top 3 safeties that, somebody like a Tony Jefferson wants to come in is just going to have to realize that it's a guy that's going to be 4th or 5th, and the Chiefs have announced their roster moves. So let's go to it if we can. And I am going to try and put them up on the screen here so we can all go through them together. And the Chiefs even make sure to mention the fact that it's the initial 53. So let's see if I can get my sharing the screen up here. And we should have it momentarily. There we go. And I have no idea if you can see that. So 2 quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, Gardner Minshew. No surprise there. Running backs, Kareem Hunt, Elijah Mitchell, Isaiah Pacheco, Brashard Smith. A little bit of a surprise about Elijah Mitchell, and we can talk about that. Wide receivers, 8, Hollywood Brown, Jason Brownlee, Nico Remigio, Rashee Rice, Jalen Royals, Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyquan Thornton, and Xavier Worthy. Tight ends, 3, Noah Gray, Travis Kelce, Jared Wiley. No Robert Tonyan, who is a vested veteran, does not have to go through waivers, but we will see where he's at later on this list. Offensive line, Mike Caliendo, Creed Humphrey, Jalen Moore, Wanye Morris, Hunter Norzad, Jawan Taylor, Josh Simmons, Trey Smith, Kingsley Suamatia. 0 surprises there. Defensive line, 9, Mike Dana, Ashton Gelati, Malik Herring, Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, Derrick Nottie, Omar Norman Lott, Charles Omenihu, Jerry Tillery, No Mike Pennell, but otherwise, from what we saw in practice today, that is exactly what I expected. Linebackers, 6, Jeffrey Bassa, Nick Bolton, Leo Chanel, Jack Cochran, Cooper McDonald, Drew Tranquil. No surprises there. Defensive back, 9. A little bit of a surprise. Chamari Connor, Brian Cook, Christian Fulton, Jaden Hicks, Trent McDuffie, Chris Roland Wallace, Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams, Noel Williams. Now we'll get to the roster moves here momentarily. That would not be a Nazi Johnson listed on here. That is somebody that I absolutely would expect to be on injured reserve then. So specialist, Matt Ariza, Harrison Butker, James Winchester. No surprises there whatsoever. So a couple of sneaky ones. And like I said, now the question, especially with the wide receiver, 8 wide receivers is a lot of wide receivers. Looking to see if the Chiefs have posted their transactions yet, which would actually tell us what the roster moves were. It looks like we've got them here. So with no further ado, we'll add those to the screen as well. The Chiefs have placed on injured reserve Jake Breeningstuhl, Brandon George, and Nazi Johnson. One of those is going to at least be out for the season. You can only put 2 of those players, like we talked about, that can be designated for removal. Designated to return. So one of those individuals will be out for the season. I could take a guess. I don't want to, but so I'm not going to right now, but you can probably guess as well. One of those would have to be out for the season. The other 2 could be designated for return. Ethan Driscoll on the non-football illness list. No surprise there. And the Chiefs have waived the following players. Elijah Badger, Owen Carney, Johnny Carter, Dalton Cooper, Jacob Covington, Magdalena, Chu Godric, CJ Hansen, Aziz Ahern, Jimmy Holiday, Keziah Izzard, Cam Jones, Kevin Knowles, Joey Lombard, Fabian Lovett, Nate Matlack, Glendon Miller, Zandon Mueller, Chris Oladokin, Essa Pillay, Hal Presley, Keyshawn Smith, Melvin Smith, Jerquarius Spivey, Carson Steele, Trey Watson, Michael Wiley, Major Williams, and Bailey Zappi. And they have released Cole Christensen, Mike Edwards, Mike Pennell, Robert Tunyon, and Marlon Tuipulotu. Robert Tunyon, I understand, would also be in that category of a player that they would sign back. So I think that's also going to be a roster maneuver. So there could be, and I'm going back here too, maybe going back and forth on this quite a bit, but I'm going to make sure I've got everything, make sure I didn't miss anything on the initial 53-player roster. Let's see. And let's see. One thing I'm trying to figure out if I just missed or if I am confused, which can always happen. No. So, yeah, I would. So there is probably going to at least be, it sounds like a possibility of maybe someone else going on injured reserve, or there could be just another transaction. It sounds like I said, Robert Tunyon, I don't think is going to be going anywhere. But like he may be back, and some of these players may also, that we're talking about who have been waived or cut, could be back on the team for the practice squad. So Cole Christensen, for instance, is absolutely, if is a veteran, can be a free agent immediately. If he doesn't get an offer from someone else to be on a 53, he will absolutely be back on the practice squad. Mike Edwards, possibilities too, options with all of these guys, or the possibility that they could return on the practice squad. Everybody who's on that waiver list, however, is going to have to pass through waivers. Anybody that surprises me for the most part, what we knew already, the ones that might have been the biggest surprise, we learned earlier today, like Essa Pillay, the offensive tackle. I think the Chiefs are kind of crossing their fingers that he's going to sneak through and will be able to sneak through the to the practice squad. Not sure there's anybody else. I mean, there's others that, I mean, I think you're crossing your fingers that they can get through to the practice squad off waivers. Kevin Knowles, I think, is one of those guys. And Shu Godric, if he clears waivers, will be back as that 17th spot on the roster as an international player, like I mentioned earlier. So, I'll tell you what I'm probably going to do is I'm just going to leave kind of both of these available so we can flip back and forth between them. Just hoping that you all can see them better than I do on my screen. So, depending on your size of your screen, I suppose, will be the biggest thing. So there you go. We got the roster. I might tell you what, I'm going to kind of lop off here where we kind of stopped, and I'm going to come back later and go through all your questions, so I don't want anybody to feel left out. I do want to jump down to the bottom though and see if there's any questions that you got at the bottom now that we've got the 53 out. And I'm just going to scroll through here real quick and see if there's any new questions that you all have based on the 53 and the roster move. So fire away. I'm going to be looking at these real quick, and then we're going to come back and, like I said, go through some of the questions that went out there, or you had posted out there earlier. Oops, I was going to pull up the roster. So we've got that in front of us. Bobby, does it concern you that Rashee is the same age as Juju when he first signed with KC? Juju fell off after his age 25 season. No, and partly because Juju will tell you the same thing. I mean, he had a lot of mileage at 25, probably a lot more than Rashee has. Injuries too. I mean, a little bit. I know Rashee had the injury as well, but different histories. Juju was a 5th-year veteran by that time, so a lot more experience in the NFL, a lot more mileage, worse knees. I mean, I think Juju would tell you right now his knees were worse at 25 than Rice's knees are right now. So, or Rashee's knees are right now. So, no, that doesn't concern me too much. I mean, it's really about what the player is. Juju, I mean, he'll tell you. I mean, he had a lot of mileage, and I don't think that we really see that from Rashee quite yet. So, Jackie, Robert Tonyan was cut, but like I said, I expect that that's a roster maneuver. I think that Robert Tonyan is going to be back pretty soon. So I don't think that the Chiefs are losing his services unless something crazy happens. So, and yeah, Chris, I did say lightning round. So, and I was going to pull up, make sure I didn't miss anything at wide receiver. And I will be interested in seeing, because the Chiefs don't make the designation here. It should be on the NFL report when it comes out, which one of the 3 injured reserve players are out for the season. I would imagine that Breeningstool and Johnson will go ahead and be the ones that are designated to return, and Brandon George is out for the season. And you know what? I mean, Brandon George's got a lot of talent. So if he's got a little minor injury that you're using to put on practice squad and keep around, no problems, because that's a good developmental player to keep around to me. So I've got no issues if he's got a little issue that you need to lop off there to keep him around. That's I've got no problems with that. So let's see here. I know. Don't worry about Big Bob. Like I said, I've been told that Big Bob will be coming back, so don't worry about that. Now, Jacob brings up a good point here. Also, Royals in the roster means no IR. Not definitively. Like I said, if Breeningstool and Johnson were both placed on injured reserve with a designation to return, then that's your 2. You can't place a 3rd. So if they do have a third player that they wanted to place on injured reserve, they would have to wait. And so it looks like and sounds like to me that there is a third player that they do need to place on injured reserve. Is that Jalen Royals? I do not know. So I'll try and find out for you, but as of right now, I don't know that it's Jalen Royals, but it sounds like that there might be at least another player that could be going on IR, but there's just there is a procedural move that you will be seeing Bob Tunyon come back. Yeah, and working on Mike Pennell, if that's a situation where maybe he could be coming back, and whether that's a procedural move too, or if he is going to be on, if it's legitimate cut or it's attempt to get him onto the practice squad. We'll effort to find that out. So if I find out, learn anything, I will share that with you as well. Yeah, 8 wide receivers was a little bit of a surprise to me, Jedi. I distinctly thought that it was possible based on what we saw at practice today. So it makes sense. And again, if one of those wide receivers is going on injured reserve on Wednesday because you're just making move, and like I said, I'm expecting Robert Tunyon to be back. So if that's the case, then it would make a lot of sense. And then you're just down to 7 wide receivers, and while that's still a lot, it makes sense for the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs were down to whether they were going to keep 7 or not. So sounds like that they will probably be keeping 7 eventually, but for now, yeah, Alicia, I'm trying to find out what's the situation with Mike. I would have thought that he's absolutely would have been making this 53, and I learned that he was going to be cut earlier today. Just don't know the logistics of it yet, so we'll figure that one out. Going. Jackie, how did Elijah Mitchell make it? I mean, I'll admit, that's another one that surprises me because Mitchell, you look at his usage. I mean, you look at his at the way that he has been used in the preseason games. That does surprise me. He certainly seemed like that he might be on the wrong line of the cut line. The Chiefs have been talking about the need that they have for a 4th running back and it not being somebody who's on the roster right now. I think this is probably a little bit of the Chiefs keeping their options open. I mean, and hey, maybe they feel like that they saw something that turned with Elijah Mitchell last week. Maybe they saw something in practice or in the preseason game that they felt like was just making a turn, some progress, and that's why they feel like that they need him there. Could be a placeholder. Maybe they're, once again, we're getting all the waiver cuts around the league. The Chiefs are going through all of those right now, seeing who that they like that's out there. If there's a running back out there that they like better than Elijah Mitchell, then they may very well release Elijah Mitchell and claim that player. We'll see what happens, but that was a bit of a surprise to me. So I did not have him on my roster because I felt like that the Chiefs' 4th running back is somebody who's probably not on this roster right now. So, and like I said, don't be too concerned about Big Bob Tunyon, about Robert Tunyon not being on the initial 53. My understanding is that he will be returning to the team. It's just a procedural move. But that he will be back in the team probably as early as Wednesday. So don't freak out yet about Big Bob Tunyon. Jackie, who are the players going on IR to make room for the recently cut? There you go, right there. Your 3 players are going on injured reserve: Jake Breeningstool, Brandon George, and Nazeeh Johnson. And Ethan Driscoll landing on the non-football illness list as expected after him coming off of the appendectomy. And I know, very excited. We are going to be having our good friend Nick Jacobs coming in here shortly. So as soon as Nick gives me the heads up that he's ready, we will bring him on in, and you can stop listening to me just, pattering on about the roster. Let's see. Carson Steele. Yeah. I mean, Carson, if he clears waivers, I think he's coming back to the team on the practice squad. No guarantees, but if he does, I think he'll be back. And so, let's see. 8 receivers has broken your brain, Cody. I imagine, like I said, I think it's for a short period of time. It sounds like there will probably be a maneuver in the next 24 hours. And if that's Jalen Royals going to injured reserve, it wouldn't necessarily stun me. It would be a little bit more disappointing for the Chiefs than maybe the prognosis was a week ago for Jalen Royals, but it doesn't necessarily mean that anything's gotten worse. It may just mean that their thinking as far as how they want to protect him going forward has changed a little bit. But Charlie, do we read into the fact that they decided to carry so many skill players on offense? I don't think there's a huge thing to read into it, Charlie, just because, I mean, they're really happy, obviously, with what they've got on the offensive side, and there's a lot of players that they like, and they're going to need some depth this year. On the NFL transaction report, Jake Breeningstool and Najee Johnson both have the designated for return designations. So Brandon George, the linebacker from Pittsburgh, of those 3, Brandon George will be out for the season. Not a huge surprise there. Of those 3, that's the one that I anticipated would be the move. So Brandon George will be out for the season. A nice developmental linebacker to keep around. That's no problems with me whatsoever. I mean, that's a good thing if you're able to hold on to a guy like Brandon George. And too bad about the injury, but being able to keep him and not lose him on waivers, good deal for the Chiefs. That's a guy that could absolutely be a developmental piece for the future. And I know Nick and I were both big fans of his. But Jake Breeningstool, Najee Johnson, both designated for return, so they can both be eligible to come back after 4 weeks. I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they can. Their practice windows can start opening after week 1. So after Brazil, they can start practicing, and then come back after as early as 4 weeks. Nikki, what is the benefit of not putting someone on the 53 today, but then putting them on tomorrow? Normally, Nikki, it's entirely about freeing up a roster spot for someone that you need to put on injured reserve. Sometimes it's simply because the team, felt like that they needed to protect somebody, and then maybe sometimes it's a young player, but they feel like there's a better chance to sneak play a player through maybe waivers through the second wave rather than the first wave. But the vast majority of the time, Nikki, when a team does this, it's because they want to put someone on injured reserve. And like I mentioned earlier, you get those 2 designations. The Chiefs used them both. So they used one on Jake Breeningstool, one on Najee Johnson. That's it. You can't place any more than 2 players on injured reserve today and designate them to return later. So if you've got 3 of them, 3 players that you want to place on IR and bring back later this season, then you got to do this with one of them. You gotta leave them off the 53. Somebody off the 53, put that player on injured reserve on Wednesday, and then bring back that other player. It's got to be, once again, it needs to be a vested veteran who doesn't have to go on waivers. So all the tricks of the trade. Adam, so why aren't the Chiefs running a fullback this year? I mean, Andy Reid hasn't been doing it now for a few years. Even last year with Carson Steele, he wasn't a strictly traditional fullback. I mean, he was a running back in college by trade, and he picked up some fullback elements last year. I think he's still a work in progress as a fullback. So certainly as a full-time blocker, I think that he's certainly a little bit of a work in progress. So hey, if you can continue to do that work on the practice squad, more power to him. Aaron, if the Chiefs pick up anyone new off of waivers, does that affect comp pick for next year? No, the comp pick formula only applies to free agency, and it is locked. So the NFL announces those comp picks next year. Over the Cap obviously does a fantastic job of projecting those, and you can go look them up over there. But no, nothing that goes forward, waivers, anything of that nature affects comp picks. Pano, why in the world would they release Pennell? I'm still efforting for an explanation on that one. I've not heard what the situation is. I'm still in a bit of the assumption that he'll be back in some role, whether it's on the practice squad or on the active roster. We'll see. But I know, like I said, I'm understanding that Robert Tonyan will definitely be back on the 53. I have not heard the same yet about Mike Pennell, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, Blake seems like multiple receivers could be going to short-term IR. Hollywood and Royals. Hollywood played well. Hollywood was back last week, and Hollywood was on the field today. So I'm assuming that it's not Hollywood. The only receiver who did not practice today that's on this list. Now I didn't see Juju. Doesn't mean that Juju wasn't out there, and I just completely missed him. But Royals was on the sideline, did not practice, as Andy Reid said that he would not. So that's the most likely candidate. And if that's the case, and Jalen Royals goes on injured reserve on Wednesday with the possibility to designate him to return, and you bring back Bob Tonyan, then, all of this makes sense. So, and Captain Freedom, if you're on the phone and you can't read the screen, this is over on the Chiefs website, so you can go to ChiefsDigest.com and get these two. They've got two separate items up. One's the roster moves, and the other one is their 53-player roster. So both of them are there if you need to go get a easier to read version. I wish I could make that larger, but that is as best as I can get on the screen, unfortunately. And Chris, just looking at numbers, what position do you think you add? I'm going to go back over to the roster itself. Except for wide receiver, I mean that's an odd number, and not by 8. 8's not an odd number, but 8's an odd number of receivers for sure. I was anticipating the Chiefs would probably keep 10 defensive backs, so it would not surprise me if they were in the market for an extra safety, especially with the injury issues that they do have. Remember, or excuse me, a cornerback. I think I said safety, cornerback, because with Christian Fulton coming back from the knee injury, you do have some questions there. Chris Wallace is a safety now, so I wouldn't even consider him to be part of the equation. Josh Williams has been inconsistent. Noel Williams had a concussion earlier. Jalen Watson's been dinged up a little bit. So, you do have a bunch of injuries there. I would not be surprised if the Chiefs added a 10th defensive back. Could be a safety, but I think a corner would be probably a bit more likely. I mean, they do have at this point have 4 safeties, and Chris Roland Wallace is one of them. So that's where I would say I think it's most likely. I mean, they could still obviously add a defensive lineman. I do think 10 or 9 is kind of the number that they would like to be at. And I still think that they're going to probably try to add a running back. So, it could be a different running backs. I mean, it might not be these same 4 running backs. I think they'll stick at 4. But my imagination, not sure I'm really putting that correctly but I think after tomorrow, I think that the Chiefs will have 7 wide receivers and 4 tight ends is probably how it will work with Bob Tonyan, unless there's something else that I'm really not understanding. But yeah, and Samuel, you like everybody else. It's okay. Bob Tonyan's not going anywhere. He'll be back. Mike Borgonzi, Chris Ballard, Ryan Poles. Don't forget it, Carolina, Brant Tillis. There's 4 Brett Veach type guys out there, 3 of his disciples out there who are absolutely going to be pouring through the Chiefs waiver cuts. So yeah, there's going to be a few of those Chiefs that do not come back. So where's the original 3rd member of the Brashard Smith fan club? I mean, I know Nick and I are. Who's the 3rd one? There's going to be a lot of Brashard Smith fan club members by the time this thing's all done. Let's see. Lee, when the Chiefs re-signed the vets who were cut, then re-signed the vets who were cut, then who gets cut? Probably not. I mean, there could be some cuts coming forward. There will be people out there who will theorize that maybe you do cut some younger, you waive some players that maybe you were anticipating, not doing in the first wave, because you're hoping to maybe sneak them through waivers in the second wave, and maybe teams have finalized and made some moves, and now all of a sudden they're like, oh, we don't need to claim that guy, and maybe you back off of that. I think that's sometimes a little bit too much of 3D chess. I think that, once again, most likely when you're talking about the vets who were cut, they're either going to end up coming back onto the practice squad, or in the case of Robert Tonyan, he's going to be back on the 53, and there's just someone who's going to be going to injured reserve. That's almost typically what happens in those cases. Brandon, Chris Oladokun going back to the practice squad or released altogether, waived, Brandon. So any club in the league can claim Chris Oladokun by 11 a.m. tomorrow. Their Chiefs are going to add somebody onto the practice squad quarterback. I would still anticipate that Oladokun is that quarterback if they feel like there's somebody out there who's better. Like last year, they signed Bailey Zappi to the practice squad and brought him in. And then when he left, they went back to Oladokun. It could be door number 3 is what they choose for that. It could be Bailey Zappi. I mean, I would say Oladokun is the favorite to be that third quarterback on the practice squad, but no guarantees. And when do we get the waiver claims, Jack? There you go. Perfect timing. Oh, and then I just saw Bobby. Bobby, I'm coming to you next. Sorry you had to wait there, bud. Yeah, waiver claims, the teams have until 11 a.m. tomorrow to put in waiver claims, and then typically by noon, Kansas City time, at least in both those situations, by noon, the NFL releases which waiver claims were awarded, and we go from there. Bobby, so is Juju going to IR? Possible. I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming at this point that Jalen Royals is the most likely IR candidate, because he was the one guy who was on the sidelines today. He's the one guy that the Chiefs have mentioned was not going to be practicing. So I would assume that it is Jalen, but until tomorrow, we don't know for sure. So it's a possibility. I mean, it certainly is. So I don't have a definitive answer for you on that. If I find out something, I will let you guys know. But right now, we don't know for sure. I would assume that with 8 receivers, like I said, I would assume that one of them is going on injured reserve by tomorrow. But we'll see. And that's also part of the NFL does a couple of deadlines and reports tomorrow, because since they do the waiver claims, they have to be in before 11 a.m. tomorrow, Kansas City time. They award those. And then they put out another report of all the players who were awarded. And then at noon, that's when, or actually more specifically, when that transaction report comes out, that's when teams can start building their practice squads. So then that's when you're going to start seeing all that activity. So we're going to be going through a lot more tomorrow of Chiefs signed so-and-so to the practice squad, and so-and-so heading to the practice squad. We're going to have up to 17 of those, assuming that True Godric is one of them, and I believe that he will be one of those. Alex, Chiefs need a cornerback more than a running back. I mean, numbers-wise right now, I'd probably say you're right. I mean, the Chiefs are maybe light at defensive back, so they got 5 corners on the roster right now and 4 safeties. I think that the Chiefs would say that they do need a cornerback, and Samuel's on the same page. I wouldn't necessarily be stunned if the Chiefs didn't claim a corner. They might be. I think there's certainly one of the positions that they're looking at. They're looking at corner, and they're looking at running back too. So, I mean, at this point, they've at least made their initial decision to stick with Elijah Mitchell. Going to be scouting the waiver wire to see if there's anybody else that they'd like to bring in, but cornerback is also one of those spots, and it's a position that they could add to. So now, if you add a corner, you're going to have to make a move somewhere. So we'll see where that would have to come from. Doctor Who had a dream that Mahomes was traded in a blockbuster trade with the Bengals, and the Chiefs got Burrow and Chase in return. No, there is no chance of that happening, Doctor Who. I don't know what you had before bed, but never have that again. Just to be safe. John, who are the Chiefs bringing off waivers? We won't know until tomorrow morning. Won't know all who they tried to claim. They could try to claim a lot of guys, but when you're 31st in the waiver wire, don't always get what you want. So we'll see if the Chiefs get awarded anybody tomorrow. Mitchell, any thoughts about Juju Brent? Seems to fit the mold of a Spags corner physically and a reclamation project for Veach. Chiefs need corners. I mean, those are, honestly, the kind of guys that on waivers you would be looking at. I mean, honestly, you get two types of corners that teams are going to be looking for, and teams like the Chiefs will be looking for. It's either, some really young guys, maybe undrafted free agents, maybe some draft picks from this year that washed out with their other teams that you really like, that might be the players that you're looking for. The Chiefs, remember, for instance, Treverick Ward, Trevarius Ward, my goodness, I need to get some sleep. It's been a long day, Nick. Trevarius Ward, Chiefs loved him. They knew that they were not going to get Trevarius Ward on the waiver wire, so they made the deal with the Cowboys. But those are the types of players that, one type of player, a young player, undrafted free agent, somebody that you saw, on whether it was you love coming out of the draft anyway, somebody you scouted in the preseason, all of the above, those types of players. Or two, reclamation projects like you're talking about, Mitchell, somebody who's just underperformed in their system. Maybe it's a bad fit, maybe bad culture, bad team, bad coaching, any of these things. I mean, just like, the Chiefs kind of had to have the same thing with, when there was, a lot of projections that maybe Josh Williams doesn't make this roster. It's like, hey, are there NFL teams out there that really think that they can coach up, cornerbacks better than Dave Merritt and Steve Spagnuolo? Yeah, there are. I mean, they think that there are going to be coaches out there that are like, you know what? I see something that these guys didn't, and I can fix that guy. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but there are absolutely coaches who believe that. And sometimes it's true. Sometimes the guys are just on bad teams and they're in bad cultures and bad organizations, and they just need a fresh start. Sky Moore, I said, needs a fresh start. So I was all for Sky Moore. If he gets a fresh start, go for it. One guy who never needs a fresh start is Nick Jacobs.
I am here, Matt.
Nick!
I am here.
Okay, either I have muted you or you have muted you. I still can't hear Nick. Oh, now you are muted, and I can unmute you. I am trying to unmute you. It says that your mic is not connected. We're close. We're so close. I can taste it.
Let me cook.
Okay, you're unmuted. Oh.
This is a nightmare is what this
is going on. We're going to make Nick big and see if that helps.
How about now, Matt? How about now?
Why can't... It's just a way that this day is going.
And then come back.
Nick is gone, but he will be back. You can hear Nick and I can't hear Nick? Okay. Oh! That's a distinct operator error. So that was definitely my fault.
Oh, so I did all that for nothing?
You did all of that for nothing, cool. Nick. Yes.
At least the people know I'm a problem solver. I'm just out here solving problems.
I'm gonna just let everybody know how the sausage is made here. It turns out that you can hear people when your headphones are plugged in.
Samuel, that's hurtful. I am not a grump. You guys just agitate me sometimes, or I have real world stuff going on in my life. Okay. So people want me to be a robot sometimes. People expect me to be a robot and be like, that is great. You guys are great. This is all great right now.
Dance, robot, dance.
Dance, robot, dance. So I'm here, Matt. What?
All right.
What are we doing?
First, I want to ask you.
I haven't had a sport coffee today yet. I do have one, but I've debated about if I should drink it or not. Given that it's 7:30, I'm trying to go to bed by 1. so that I can be at Chiefs tomorrow. I believe it's pronounced Chiefs. Is it pronounced Chiefs?
I think it is for tonight, because if you put out your roster at like 7 o'clock, you're definitely not.
Did you know the NFL transaction didn't come out until they released theirs? It was 1 minute on releasing theirs.
Gee, I wonder how that kind of all worked together there. What? All right, Nick, your first thoughts about the 53.
I'm not worried about any of it. So I know somebody's like, what? Mike Pennell, Robert Tonyan, why would you do that? They'll be back tomorrow. I'm not really worried about that. I doubt they even took anything out of their locker. So on that front,
I know Robert Tonyan didn't take anything out of his locker.
Yeah, no, there's no point. Mike Pennell's their starting one tech. I mean, like, that's reality. I doubt he's going anywhere. Or it's like, hey, Mike, you want to take a day? We'll bring you back tomorrow after 3 o'clock. Okay. So it gives him an extra day of rest, gives Robert Tonyan a day of rest from that front. So, I mean, like, if I'm in anybody's shoes, I wouldn't worry anything about it right now. The 8 wide receivers, I do think, obviously, one of them will be going to injured reserve tomorrow because you're not keeping 8 the entire time, but maybe you need to. Since you use the 2 designations on Najee Johnson and you use the other one on Jake Brenningstool, that tells me that right now they want to – that's why Josh Williams is on the rosters, because Najee is going to be on IR. But I think the people that are in – I know people are going to ask this, so I'm just going to get out of the way now. The people that I think are potentially in danger roster-wise would be Elijah Mitchell. We'll see on Jason Brownlee, and then we'll see on Josh Williams. Because if there's some opportunity to bring some guys onto the roster, I think those are the 3 spots. And Malik Herring, I think potentially that would be another spot where there may be an adjustment down the road here. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I'm not surprised. I know you got asked a lot today, and anytime I had the radio on, I heard, "Who are you surprised by? What surprises you?" When you come to the team every day, nothing surprises you because you run through every scenario of what the Chiefs may do. So when I looked at the press release of what they put out there, I'm like, yeah, that tracks. So I mean, like, I'm sure some people are surprised about some of the vested veterans, but I mean, if you know how the system works, I mean, there's just a certain way right now that each of them have to go, especially with Ryan Poles and Mike Bergonzi lurking to potentially play a game called Waiver Claim with some of the guys that are out there, like, Issa Pole, Cam Jones. And so if there's some guys that you specifically wanted on the roster, that I think that's why they made some of the decisions that they did today. Because, for example, with Elijah Mitchell, he's a vested veteran. You can make whatever move you have to tomorrow on that front if you get a running back you like off waiver claims. So I mean, like, that makes sense to me. About the Chiefs are the type that they don't like to make a move until they have the replacement. I hope people understand that. And that is my rant.
It wasn't even like an official rant. No, it was just kind of a solid explanation.
That is my long-winded talking point. Welcome to my Nick Talk. Not a TED Talk. It's a Nick Talk.
Also, and I probably should have factored this in a little bit more. And this fits into exactly what you were talking about, Nick, which is, about why you wait to maybe have your replacement in place, or you wait until a little bit longer to make decisions on some things. I mean, Elijah Mitchell has a $2.5 million contract for this season, 1.35 guaranteed. I mean, NFL teams just don't set $1.35 million on fire for no reason. So, I mean, you're definitely not going to do it without, a little bit of more due diligence, and certainly without making sure that if you are going to set $1.35 million on fire, that you've got it you're doing it for a good reason, because you've got somebody who's significantly better,
or to stay warm,
the money that you're staying
in winter situation.
That also, it could be a distinct possibility. So,
I mean, I'd use it to buy firewood, but whatever, tomato.
Can't make rash decisions, and so I still think there's a strong likelihood that the Chiefs pick up a running back who's not on this roster, but
I personally hope so. And I know a guy.
You know a guy.
I put an emoji on it whenever he got waived today.
Okay, since I skipped some questions earlier, now that you're here, Nick, I'm going to go back and I might still skip some questions if we've already answered them, or maybe they don't make sense anymore. Let's see. I am trying to find out where I left off, though. I've got a pretty good idea.
Okay. I wish you the best.
Oh, I need to write these things down, Nick. Jeremy has a question that as I started this, I don't think I meant to, but it's a good question. Do a lot of the vet free agents still sit until after week 1, so they're not guaranteed contracts? That is something that can happen, Nick, but it's also something that if you do it very often, you're gonna get players who don't want to come play for you.
I think it just depends on a team that's really close against the cap but needs a veteran. So I remember the Jets did that with Tony Richardson, I want to say, back when Rex Ryan was there. It's kind of a part of Hard Knocks and everything that year. So can it happen? Sure. But I think that's only for organizations that have like $8 million or less in cap space, and they're having to do that, which a lot of teams I don't think are in that ballpark. So I don't anticipate that being something that the Chiefs are going to do or have a heavy practice of doing, because Chris Shea and Brett Veach and the Chiefs front office do a very good job of planning out 3 years in advance what they have financially and what they can maneuver and how they can maneuver on a regular basis.
I'm still navigating like 15 different windows, Nick. You know how I am.
Yeah. You definitely shouldn't have as many tabs open.
Brandon, will Travis break Tony Gonzalez's receiving yards record?
I don't know what it is, and it's not a.
Tony has 15,127, or had, still has.
We're gonna 15,127.
Travis is at 12,151.
And when does Brandon think he's breaking it this year?
Well, I guess
2,976 yards
ever. Well, it's like 3,000, almost 3,000 yards. So, I mean, I think we're talking about ever, not just this season.
Let's see how this year goes for Travis, and then go from there. I don't know if you know, but he had a big life event come up today. I don't know if he posted on Facebook yet, but I believe he did update with a life event. He puts somebody on the franchise tag today, so they're not a restricted free agent anymore. They are on the franchise tag.
There you go. Would you, if they held the wedding at Arrowhead, would you go, Nick?
I wouldn't be stunned if I didn't have to cover it or do a pre or post game show for it. But I mean, I don't anticipate an invite. If I'm in their shoes, I do something in a very secluded area, to where paparazzi doesn't have a chance to be able to shoot anything, and you'd have to be mindful of how you can keep the helicopters or planes over top. That would be attempting to be there as well. And it doesn't matter where they go in the world. Like people are like, oh, they go to an island, do this and do that. Somebody's still going to rent a plane, because getting that photo is going to be worth a lot of money for whoever does that.
I say you do the opposite. I say you televise it yourself, you sell the rights, and you make the paparazzi irrelevant.
I mean,
broadcasted live.
That is certainly a way to go. And
that's what the royal family would do.
I mean, I don't know if they do that, but I mean, like, because I'm already thinking, yeah, you treat it like a boxing event, and you have it in movie theaters where people could go watch it. Turn it into a viewing event. Yeah, no, that. And here's what you do, Matt. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
the money they donate to charities.
See, there you go. It's all
87 and running, and whatever Taylor Swift charity is that I don't know right now. I know
all for the kids. Robert, finally getting to your question. I feel bad because I skipped questions to jump forward to when the roster came out, and Robert was unfortunately like third in line, so I feel bad now. But do you ever get a chance to ask if the younger O linemen did any off-season veteran camps? We haven't really got a lot of chance to yet because we haven't gotten to talk to anybody one-on-one. Everything's just been at the podium. So some of the younger offensive linemen we haven't got a chance to, but and some of them like offensive O-line masterminds. I mean, you can go work with Duke Manyweather, but like going to the event itself, it's kind of just a networking and talking, kind of a thing. But I know some of the Chiefs offensive linemen go to that, but it's a good question because I'm always intrigued about what some of the offensive linemen do in the off season as far as their training goes, just because I like to hang out with the offensive linemen, Nick. So they're my guys.
Are they? Do you guys go hang out? You go clubbing?
Don't go clubbing because that would be inappropriate.
Yeah, just making sure. Making sure.
Well, Pano, now Nazi Johnson is on injured reserve and not on the team, but
when designated to return.
And designated to return. Maybe we'll get it. We'll probably get the explanation tomorrow, which is that Mike Edwards is going to end up on the practice squad. I don't know, but
I could see that because I put that in one of my 53s a long time ago, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it would make a lot of sense, Pano, if Mike Edwards did, because you don't have Deion Bush anymore, and Mike Edwards would be a fine Deion Bush replacement, and that's been your kind of break glass in case of emergency on the practice squad the last few years. So if you can keep him, I think that would be good. But you also talked about it too a little bit. I mean, Mike Edwards he's not the guy he was a couple of years ago in the Chiefs. He's gotten a little bit older.
For the most part, with him, like he was already kind of struggling in coverage to begin with a couple years ago when he was on the roster, and whenever he had over top one time, he didn't stay in position, let the receiver get over top him to catch a touchdown. So on that aspect and on that front, I think he would be good on the practice squad, just like I think Major Williams, the safety, would be good on the practice squad. It's just right now, I think the Chiefs. I think somebody like Edwards is a good veteran to have in the room, but I wouldn't pay top dollar. And plus, he was running with the threes like for a while there, so people just assume because he's a veteran he was going to be running the room, and that didn't, at least for right now, that didn't turn out to be the case.
There you go. Jack, we'll find out tomorrow. 11 o'clock is the KC deadline. We'll find out a little bit before noon if the Chiefs get anybody on waivers or any of their players were claimed. Skipped a question there. Blake, assuming the Chiefs do indeed emphasize the deep ball more, who do you think gets more of those targets, Tyquan Thornton or Xavier Worthy? I'm intrigued what you think, Nick.
They're gonna try to get it to. They're gonna try to get it to Worthy as much as possible, but I think Thornton actually has a chance to be open a little bit more and not have the defense all up in his business in the same way.
I mean, there's going to be matchups where Tyquan Thornton can just blow past the corner that he's on. And if you don't have safety help behind that, that's going to be a problem because Mahomes can just throw it as far as Tyquan can run. I mean, we've seen that in training camp.
Yeah.
And to your point, Tyquan might be in a position where he just doesn't get as much safety help as Xavier's going to see.
Mm-hmm.
A1 Buds, breakout player to watch. I'm trying to come up with a better answer, Nick, than Brashard Smith, because Brashard Smith is just seems like the guy that's most likely to just come out of nowhere and crush things.
Well, I mean, again, he's not necessarily going to sneak up on you or I, but I mean, he's he's going to be a guy that brings a lot to this offense if he can stay healthy. We'll see what Ashton Gelati can be as the year goes along. We'll see what Noel Williams can be as the year goes along. We'll see what kind of physical presence Jaden Hicks can provide in the months ahead. And then we'll see what Cooper McDonald can do on special teams. But, I mean, all those guys are definitely intriguing individuals that I think could play a part in the Chiefs' success as the year goes along.
Blake had the same question about Worthy or Thornton. So it's apparently a popular topic, Nick. So everybody.
Is that what's hot in the comment section?
That's a hot topic.
Hot topic.
Tyler, I didn't love the way Andy talked about Jalen Royals today. Is this something that could linger for a while? Do you have any sense of what's going on with that situation? I mean, the only thing that the Chiefs have described it as has been knee tendonitis. And, and they were talking about it as far as they were going to shut down Jalen Royals for this week and then see how he was. But there was optimism that he'd be available for week 1. Tyler, I'm with you. I mean, the way that Andy is particularly talking about how the other guys were further ahead and considering that one of those guys apparently has a high ankle sprain, that would be concerning to me. And the fact that the Chiefs are carrying 8 wide receivers would be concerning to me. So, it does sound like that this thing with Jalen Royals could, but it could go on for a while. But this may be part of the team's plan to just simply shut him down and then nip it in the bud so that when he comes back, he's going to be 100% and he's not going to be trying to fight this thing all season.
Right. Yeah. No, just be cautious now because you're trying to have him down the stretch.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see what we got up next. Brandon, how did Carson Steele go from 1 fumble to cut?
Well, I mean, they gave him a whole year. They gave him a whole year, so just
a little more complicated than that. Yeah.
I'm going to put it bluntly. You have to be able to block at the position he plays, and in one-on-ones he struggled on a regular basis. So, like if you're not able to block and you can't hold on the ball, you've already struck out on 2 or 4 things they need you to do outside of play special teams and be able to run over some people's faces, as Marshawn Lynch would call it. He said it a little bit more intensely, but I mean, I throttled back on that one.
I don't know what you were doing, Nick, while we were waiting for the roster. I'm kind of curious.
I was putting away groceries, and I was putting away groceries. That's all I was doing. Just come back from the grocery store and putting groceries away.
You timed that very, very well.
Well, I mean, I kept checking even when I was going down each aisle. I'd refresh the NFL transaction. I'd refresh a certain website. And the roster didn't change, so I was like, all right. So, yeah.
Jacob, I know Andy is always vague with injuries, but is Hollywood ready for week 1? I mean, practice today, he's on the roster, Nick. I mean, I don't see any reason why Hollywood would be one of the guys that they're possibly putting on IR since he practiced today. I'm assuming Hollywood's ready.
Yeah, I mean, with him practicing, last week, right?
Yeah, came back last
week. I'm fully expecting him to be in the Chargers game. Unless there's some setback we don't know about.
Jesus, what are your expectations for Norman Lott and Gelati? I hope the Chiefs fans don't expect Pro Bowl players year 1. I mean, probably not going to be Pro Bowl players year 1, Nick.
No, I mean, any rookie, you got to give them till between week 8 to 10. That's kind of the sweet spot to when they start to feel comfortable in the schemes and when they start being able to attack in the way and kind of look, hopefully, like what they did on their college tape, if not better.
Here's a name that I was waiting to see when it would come up. Brendan, do you see the Chiefs putting in a waiver claim for Damian Martinez?
So I looked at his tape earlier today from the preseason. He's more of a straight line running back. He's more of a Pacheco Kareem style than a speed style. I'm not saying that the Chiefs wouldn't try to make a play for him or get him on the roster, but I feel like they've already got two players like him in terms of style and athletic ability. He's kind of in between a Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. So I'm not saying that they wouldn't. I just don't. I think you're kind of wanting to find a little bit more speed than that.
That sounds very reasonable because once again, I mean, I think that what you're looking for is somebody that you can pair with Brashard Smith as a potential backup and someone who's a bit more east-west and north-south. So that's what I would be looking for if I'm the Chiefs. And I'm now getting to the part of the questions where the roster finally came out, Nick, and everybody was really excited. I mean, you should have seen it. It was kind of a big deal.
Oh yeah, kind of a big deal. I mean,
it was kind of a big deal.
People watched it.
Oh, right. Now we're gonna go back. We're gonna go jump in time.
The three players running back wise that I'm gonna put out there for people.
I like this.
Vital from the Chargers, running back. I liked him coming out of college. I think he would kind of be someone intriguing. You already talked about him with Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn fits more of that Brashard Smith style. I'm sure there's some other teams that are going to make claims for him as well, but I think he kind of fits more of that speed acceleration style. Get him out in space, and I think him and Brashard could run similar types of the offense to pair with your power backs and Kareem and Pacheco. Cody Schrader is somebody I'm always going to be intrigued by just because he's just a high energy, high effort football player that's got deceptive speed. But, I mean, I know he's bounced around from the 49ers and Rams back and forth, and I fully expect him to be back at the Rams practice squad tomorrow if the Chiefs didn't sign him. But looking through vested veterans and waiver wire, those were the three running backs that had my interest. And there's some corners that had my interest. I didn't necessarily see anything I saw maybe one or two defensive linemen, but I don't have them written down right now. That'll be for later.
Still very, very intrigued. Infopocalypse wants to know, why is kickoff coverage so hard to teach? Just can't see how the Chiefs can't upgrade over Jack Cochran. Is that an issue, Nick? Is Cochran just too valuable as a backup linebacker and special teamer?
I think his value comes from being able to call the defense and have a green dot as well. So I think that's kind of where his best value is. I'm not saying he didn't have value on special teams, but I'm saying if they had another guy who could call the defense, like probably Jeffrey Bassa down the road, then I think they would probably move on from Jack Cochran, but they don't have that yet. So that's why that's why I wasn't stunned when Cochran was on the roster, because if you're not putting him on IR because of the knee issue that he had, then you are going to keep him since you don't have the designation, since you're using the designation of return on two other guys.
Yeah. And and I go back even too, and this, I mean, institutional knowledge is a bit of a factor too, and sometimes these decisions that gets made, because you remember, what was it, 3 or 4 seasons ago when the Chiefs had huge turnover and they brought back only 18% of their special team snaps from the previous season, and their special teams suffered all year because of it.
I don't remember that year. I've already blacked it out.
I'll have to look it up later. Aaron, do you think Glendon Miller will make the practice squad?
I don't think I necessarily had him as a part of mine. I think I had more Kevin Knowles and Major Williams were kind of the top two that I had on that front.
I mean, based on what we saw work-wise and everything, I think it's really close between Miller and Major Williams. It's probably going to come down to whether the Chiefs feel like that they need a free safety or a strong safety on the practice squad. That's why I think I would probably favor Major Williams. But based on just the way that they deployed Miller and how they used him during both training camp and the preseason, that certainly seemed like there was something that they liked there. So I think all three of those guys, and obviously Kevin Knowles got, I think, a really good camp and just kept getting better and better, and you saw that in the game against Chicago. Let's go next to John, wondering if the Chiefs tried to trade Cam Jones, knowing that they were going to cut him. Distinctly possible, right, Nick? I mean, they've been talking to every team in the league the last few weeks, so there's probably any number of trades that were discussed.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't stun me if they didn't, but my concern now is, do the Titans or the Bears go swap him, or even the Panthers at this point? If one of those three teams gets him, or Issa Boulay.
Yeah, that was a conversation I actually had with someone, which was that, hey, I mean, Mike Bergonzi's going to be interested in some of your guys, and you have no way to trade anybody to Bergonzi because he's number one on the waiver wire. No. So you're not going to get anything out of Mike Bergonzi. He's just going to be able to pick you apart for anybody he wants. And wouldn't be surprised if he picks up a couple of Chiefs players, because he needs a lot of players. And Chiefs are going to be have let go some good players.
Mm-hmm.
No, Esapole did not make the team, unfortunately, if you're an Esapole fan. This came up earlier, but just before you came in, Nick. So I was going to ask you, since it's been asked the second time, Juju Brents?
He was somebody that he's one of the guys I was intrigued by. The Ravens waived one of their vested vets, I believe, Armour Davis. Those are two guys that I would at least like to see the Chiefs try out. I mean, Brent's, I want to say, is still on the waiver claims. He's still got one more year of eligibility contract wise. So, I mean, if they like what they see there, I'm not against it. Armour Davis from the Ravens really has my interest, though, if the Chiefs were to make something happen there, as I really liked him coming out of college. He came out at the same time Joshua Williams and Jalen Watson did.
There you go. Jacoby Covington. Any thoughts on him as a practice squad potential?
I mean, I think he could be on practice squad. I think he showed enough at camp that showcased that's worth developing.
Andy, if Nick expects the team to bring back two of the released veterans, which corresponding moves would you expect them to see to make that happen? We talked about a receiver, Nick. Is there another move that you think could possibly be made if they want to bring back like a guy like both Mike Pennell and Robert Tonyan?
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it at the top, but I know Andy asked this question before that. So receiver is going to be one spot they're going to do something, and then I would assume right now, if it's any other position other than corner, I think Malik Herring's not in a good spot. So, for example, if the Chiefs do get a running back, then I think that running back replaces Elijah Mitchell. And Elijah's a vested veteran, so you release him. Maybe they bring him back on practice squad, let him continue to kind of work his way up and see if he can regain who he was before his hamstring injury last year. Obviously, you'll get a number back from wide receiver, and you can use that in any position you want. You'll probably use it to bring back a tight end. If you bring back Mike Pennell, then I think that's going to be where Malik Herring's going to have to get off the merry-go-round and have to go to the practice squad. And then if you do anything corner-wise, then I think that's where Joshua Williams potentially comes into play.
There you go. Joe, FAU not gone, but on injured reserve for the season, so you will not see him again this year. Alan, all the draft picks made it. Any updated grade you would give this draft class compared to your grade on draft day? I mean, you and I, Nick, are kind of both wait and see on draft and grades.
Yeah, no, nothing changes for me.
I mean, I'll say this, Alan. I mean, I'm like, your draft picks, if you're only taking 7 players, your draft picks better make the team. I mean, if you've got like 12 draft picks and you're a good team, then I can understand that, hey, maybe some guys won't make it. But if you're the Chiefs and you got 7 guys, to me, they better make it. So at least they passed the first test. But yeah, to me, it's just way too early. Let's see how they do on the field first. A lot of people asking about either is it Jacob or Jacoby Covington. If he comes back in the practice squad, I'm 100% going to learn that, Nick.
I think it's Jacoby because he's got an E on the front of his name.
That's what I would assume. And Jacob, it doesn't make much sense. So I'm assuming that it's Jacoby.
Jacoby.
Exactly. Jack, why would either Juju or Royals have to go to IR? I mean, Royals has knee tendonitis, so there's legitimate injury there. We do not know about Juju's situation.
And for all we know, maybe he had an excused absence today.
And maybe I just didn't. Maybe he was there and I didn't see him. But you're right. Maybe it was an excused absence. Maybe he was going to the bathroom. He came in late. We were only out there for 5 minutes, so that's happened before too.
There you go. Let's not worry about it until tomorrow. And we'll get to the bottom of it tomorrow.
Why I certainly say, especially like today, was don't read too much into it. I mean, yes, there was a lot you could read in today that came to be, but it's not the end all be all. And sometimes that doesn't tell you and give you the complete picture. And this is just I want to address this because of the question about how long that players can be on IR. If players who are the two guys who are put on today and designated for a return have to miss 4 games, they can be designated to return and start practicing after week 1, and that opens up the 21-day window. Anybody that gets put on IR tomorrow and tomorrow, you don't have to designate them to return. That was the only catch with today, is that if you put them on IR and you want them to return, you have to designate them as to return. You can put a player on IR tomorrow and you don't have to designate them until you open their practice window. So that's another distinction, and why you didn't want to necessarily waste those spots willy-nilly. So they're purposeful, and you have to be purposeful in how to use those spots, because again, too, you only get 8 of those, and you don't want to blow 3 of them unnecessarily in week 1 if you don't have to. But if you have to, then you use them.
No willy-nilly here. Not today.
Now, could there be a second part of this, which is that the Chiefs are keeping around a bunch of receivers because they are concerned about when Rashee Rice is suspended and they would like to keep their options open? That's distinctly possible, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure. It's all possible, Matt. Every single hypothetical you can think of is possible until we get to game day and see the inactives.
And now I'm seeing that it may not be a lot of people asking about Jacoby Covington, but just Chiefs 4. So
Overman.
Or is it Chiefs 41? I can't quite tell. There's an odd.
I thought it was Chiefs 41, but maybe I'm wrong.
Go with Chiefs 41. In which case, maybe it's somebody we know. So
yeah, maybe somebody I work with. You never know.
Exactly. Brandon having a lot of fun with Herbie, because Herbie Tiopi was texting me earlier, waiting for the schedule, and was also watching. Why do I keep saying schedule? Because I'm tired.
That's what you're gonna lean on. You go for it.
Hey, the other night, just before midnight on the Locked On Chiefs live stream, I did say that the Chiefs were 31st on the waiver wire.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also blaming that on being tired. Hello, everyone. I'm a professional writer. Now I feel like that's very personal, Nick. What do I do? I'm doing this. I am a professional writer, but you can't tell by the way I talk sometimes.
No, do you think maybe she's talking about the fact you have me muted?
Yeah, that was maybe the whole thing there. Because that was when you were coming in.
Because you got to remember, man. Every question, you're living in the past. People have already moved on to the present.
I know. It's difficult to deal with me sometimes.
Yeah, Nikki just said yes because I'm living in the present over here.
Yep. Thank you, Nikki. Yep. There you go. I'm not even going to mention the number of people who are talking about spiders. So.
Oh, it's fine. It's well. They'll get tired.
We are cruising through here pretty quickly. So if you have any questions that don't involve Jacoby Covington, get them in now before time expires. Okay. Samuel, if you're still confused, let me know in the questions, because we have talked a little bit about how the Penal Tunyon thing works and everything. So if you need it explained again, that's okay. We can do it. Ryan. So the IR for Breeningstool and Nazi Johnson is the at least 4 games designated to return. Brandon George is the full season. Robert's a man after my own heart, Nick. Would you consider Cody Schrader?
Already answered. Because Matt's still living.
I couldn't. Well, it wasn't the past. That was as much as that. I don't remember what you said. I remember you mentioned Deuce Vaughn. I remember we were not fans of Damian Martinez. And then
I never
you mentioned
said I wasn't a fan. I just said I put him on the practice squad because you already got two of the same in them, and Kareem Hunt and Pacheco.
And then you named two other running. You named two other running backs, and I can't remember who it was because I was trying to read questions and figuring out where my spot was.
Schrader,
there
and
you go.
Vaughn were the three I named.
There you go.
Let's forget the conversation from 10 minutes ago.
Oh, wait, that reminds me. Someone did ask, Luttrell, is Nick Jacobs willing to rap the Kevin Federline hit song Papa Zao after KC wins the Brazil opener?
I have absolutely no idea what that is. So put me down as a maybe.
Well, there we go.
Maybe
I will admit I did not know what all of those the words mean, but I do know that I believe that Kevin Federline's album Playing with Fire or something like that is like the lowest rated album of all time.
I don't know, man. I'm living in the present over here and people are talking about you, about how you need a t-shirt that says Matt's still in the past.
You know, I mean, here's the thing. I'm actually thinking about this. I mean, I'm thinking about getting an intern that would like flag the questions so that I don't have to keep track of them. I mean, I say intern because I want it to be a producer that I wouldn't pay very much.
So, like, does this high school kid need to get A+ hours, or how is this?
Well, matter of fact,
for people that don't know, in the state of Missouri, A+ hours, if you do a certain amount of hours of community service, and I don't know if this would be community service, it would be more of a business hustle by Matt that is officially documented on the Q&A right now, which is also on YouTube. So, you know, IRS and government are definitely watching this one. But a kid gets a certain amount of hours, and if they do that, then they get their first 2 years of college tuition at a community college paid for free. Took full advantage of that. But I did community service at Newmark Middle School, part of the basketball team, doing stats and stuff for one of my former teachers, Jason Endicott, who's now down in Arkansas, and I think he's a college professor.
That is one, both amazing and an awesome thing, and two, I mean, the most Nick Jacobs way I can think of to possibly do community service.
More so would have been football, but I was already playing football at that time, so I couldn't do both.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You were sacrificing yourself for the kids.
Maybe.
See, you were taking one for the team, for the kids.
But for people that want to hear something cool, one of the teams we went against that year was Antioch Middle School, and one of the 3-point shooters, he was a really good 3-point shooter, and this is when he was an 8th grader, and I was technically I wouldn't call it coaching against him. Like I was just on the bench with the coaches. I wouldn't like, hey, look at the way he used the elbow there on that 3. It was all Endicott and Mark Fabian, who's a high school football coach as well here in the Kansas City area. But they were the ones that were actual coaches. But anyways, the guy who was the really good 3-point shooter, people hear him on 8-10 now on a regular basis. He's a former Missouri basketball player, Jarrett Sutton, and he's a good friend, also a former I don't know if we call it classmate. We just went to Oak Park at the same time, and we keep in touch.
Rick, I did know that you were the third member of the fan club for Brashard Smith. I just didn't do a very good job of making it a joke, so I apologize. Once again, I completely failed. Here's the thing, Jackie.
Matt just completely ignored the Jay Sutton story.
I'm going to come back to that. Jack, I did not completely ignore it. Does Kelsey's commercial impact how you view him? Was there a specific commercial about Travis Kelce that I'm not knowing about, or because nothing about Travis Kelce that he does off the football field affects how I view him on the football field.
Since I'm still living here in the present, Jackie Moon said He basically just ignored the question. He said that wasn't for you. It was for somebody in the comment section.
Oh, sorry, Jackie.
That's what happens when you live in the present like me, Matt.
Well, if you say, hey, so and so, here's a question for you, then I would not bring it up.
I'm out here in the real time, Matt.
I mean, come on. We all know that I cannot be recounted upon to read all of the comments and questions, at least not live. Because
you're definitely not reading live, man.
I try my best. Sparkle sports cards, Nick.
That's right. Not to be confused with just regular sports cards.
Exactly. How do you think the Chiefs will fare week 1 in Brazil against the Chargers?
I think they'll win. So I already predicted them to win when I did the schedule in April. I'll do another one year down the road. I'm not going to say when. I'm trying to get all the page views possible. And but yeah, no, I fully expect them to win that game.
I think they will too. So I'm down with you right there. I have not watched.
Casey Harold says real time Nick has a nice ring to it. That's funny you say that because my job title is real time sports editor. Not to be confused with past-time sports editor or future time editor, sports editor. It's in the real time. I am editing.
My job, I am not a real-time sports editor, Nick. That is not my title nor my job. So I should not be responsible for dealing with things in real time.
That's why Matt brings me in as his intern.
I even though this is not a question, I am pointing it out just so that Nick knows that there are people who do like Nick. So
does it make Ponos week to see me? I think we decided it's Pono, right? And not Pono.
I think we said it was Pono. I think
so. No. And then we got the one guy who sneaks in from time to time. It's Uncle Charlie. And then there's somebody else. I can't remember. They sneak in from time to time, and we have fun with that one as well.
Were you surprised that Esapole was cut?
No. I mean, would I have done it? No. But did I expect them to do it? Yeah. After the Bears game on Friday night, I'm like, man, he's playing late with the threes. Like, that's not good. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll switch it to my 53. I don't want to, but I'll do it. And so I'm just mentally preparing for it to say the Bears have claimed or the Titans have claimed. Esapole. And I'm just already got that in my head. Wouldn't be stunned if the Chargers didn't play a game there too. Jerks.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way I can't look at what the Chiefs did with Pole, especially against the Bears on Friday.
I don't have a new nickname. I have my literally, when you say the word nickname, my name is Nick. That is my actual nickname.
Now, we don't have it up there, but every time that you do log in, for me at least, on StreamYard, where we host the platform here, it does identify you as Lightning Round Champion.
Yeah. Mock draft champion was already taken by me.
But with Pole, I mean, there's just no way I can explain what they did with Pole against the Bears other than try to hide him completely from waivers. And I don't know if it's going to work. They're going to try, but Alex wants to know, who is your all-time favorite offensive lineman?
Always enjoyed watching Willie Roaf play, but Willie Roaf I enjoyed watching play because I got to see behind the scenes and how much of a struggle walking was for him in between games, and to see him go out there and glide game after game was just something that I just got to always marvel at and appreciate. But I mean, always loved watching Mitchell Schwartz play, loved watching Jeff Schwartz play, loved watching Jeff Allen play. Like, all those guys, they always did a phenomenal job. But Willie Roaf's going to be top of it just because I know how much of a struggle it was for him. Like, I know I've said this before many times, and if people have heard it before, that's my bad. But for the people that are living here in the now and the moment, it would honestly, to get from one side of the locker room to the other, would take Willie Roaf at least 5 minutes. But then you'd watch him go against Dwight Freeney and just boom, and you're like, holy heck, man. It was pretty cool.
What I loved about Willie Roaf and watching him play is that every time you watched him walk to the huddle, you thought it might be the last time that he walked to a huddle in his life. And then you would watch him move, And it was like that old joke, like I think, about turning out the lights and being so fast you could get into the coverage before the light went out. I mean, Willie it looked like he was just transporting from one location to another on the offensive line. Looked like he was on skates. He was fast.
Yeah, no, I got that with your first two comparisons.
I'm saying he was like really fast.
Thank you for taking me on that wordsmith journey.
Yes. Music Mesh, Jake Brainingstool and Z Johnson was
for
the
other record,
one.
Pono, I was actually in the locker room when Willie Roaf played. That's how I got to see him up close. So no, I was not in diapers. Actually was literally in the locker room when he played in 04. But
he played a long time too, though. So you might have been in diapers when he was first playing.
I doubt it.
Neo Thomas, Nick, thoughts about the left side of the offensive line?
We'll see as the weeks go on.
Did you at least like what you saw a little bit more on Friday night than you had seen previously?
No, I had no difference in what we talked about on the podcast on Saturday. I know I was the only one to go that way, and but some of my thoughts and impressions got confirmed for me by other people. So I was like, all right, I'm not crazy. Or, as some people put in the comment section that, were a little bit critical. And, is what it is.
Brian with the excellent point that, yes, if you're haven't hit the like button, that would be awesome because then more people will find the
I apologize to anybody's speakers right now. Sorry, Matt. Anytime I hear that, there's two things when I see that. Like when Brian does that, I just hear Brick Tamlin being like, hit the like button. And then whenever somebody says the GTSY, I always hear in my head, great to see ya. Great to see ya. Hi. Those are how the voices are in my head.
I mean, Nikki, don't volunteer to be a moderator if you don't want to be a moderator, because I will absolutely take people up on this.
No, I think she was going to be your intern.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you want to be an intern, Nikki, I mean, I will absolutely.
Moderator and intern are very different, Matt. An intern's apparently going to tell you where you're going with the show, question-wise.
But the most
moderators out here blocking people, throwing them out of the club.
Most important thing, though, Nick, is that both moderator and interns are not paid, except in life lessons.
They're paid in experience. Get out of here, man.
I mean, I might be able to get a gift card to Auntie Anne's or something.
I've got a question for everybody out there, including yourself, Matt.
Yes.
It's a debate my family and I had at my grandma after my grandma's funeral. They saw me drinking a sport coffee. And some of my family members who are going to check this out later or maybe watching it live, I'm not sure. They thought me drinking sports coffees that have 150 milligrams of natural caffeine was just too much. And I searched that, and that's like 2 cups of coffee. So for anybody out there, it's 150 milligrams of natural caffeine too much.
I mean, I'm saying no because I know people
because you've seen me on them or what?
Well, I mean, I haven't seen like your heart explode or anything like that, so I'm happy about that.
Why would we put something like that out in the universe, sir?
Because that's my first concern that I have about myself when I'm talking about energy drinks or anything like this.
Even though I know your circumstance, I would never put that out in the universe, man. Even if I was thinking it. My goodness, Matt. Guys, blame Matt down the road if this happens to me. I'm actually just going to notify my family afterwards about this. Matt put this out in the universe.
It's not my fault. Okay, but I know people who have so much more caffeine than that every day, and it doesn't seem to affect them at all.
Yeah, Todd Haley does have a lot of caffeine.
You're only going to live once. I mean, so do what you enjoy, as long as apparently, like Rick says, as long as it doesn't involve sucrose. So
I don't. Is he talking about something? He's talking about your Dr. Pepper, right? Because I know he's not talking about.
No, he's talking about the 0-calorie Gatorade. That's a problem for me.
Yeah, because this has got natural cane sugar in this.
I don't know how much the Dr. Pepper doesn't say how much caffeine it actually has.
I love how Cody's like, I can have 400 milligrams and go to sleep. That's what I'm talking about, Cody. It's a high tolerance right there.
I mean, that's the thing about me. I mean, sometimes caffeine will keep me up, and sometimes I can have 60 ounces of Dr. Pepper and fall asleep immediately.
Oh, yeah?
So that's probably something indicative of some sort of medical condition, though. So, Luke, your cousin Luke, Nick, do you foresee a Josh Williams trade? Him making the team is puzzling. Injuries are the reason why he's making the team.
I will get back to them in a moment. Nikki over here is saying sugar is poison. Nikki, you know it's poison? That mindset right there. If sugar makes me happy and entertains you, we should be all for it. Now let's go back to Luke Jacobs. Luke, phenomenal last name. I salute you, sir, right there. This is me saluting you 3 times. Because you got OCD sometimes. Do you foresee Josh Williams shirt? I mean, I think most teams are probably going to take their chances with who's on waivers or vested veterans, but it's not a bad thing to hold on to him for another day and see if somebody still wants to make a trade overnight because they didn't like what they saw on waiver wire. So I mean, it's definitely worth it.
There you go.
Nikki just got personal over here. I'm sorry, Nikki.
I'm sorry, Nikki. What did I do?
No, you didn't do anything wrong, man. You don't have to apologize. There's nothing to apologize for, Matt.
I mean, normally it's always my fault, Nick.
It is not. For people that don't know, Matt will apologize for natural disasters that happen in other countries, and blame himself for it. And I tell him every time, you got to stop, man.
I am not entirely sure that Russian earthquake wasn't because of something that I did on the Q&A.
See, that's what concerns me when you tie everything back into yourself, Matt. You're telling me you think you're center of the universe. I'm just kidding.
I know
you don't think that.
I definitely don't think that. Because,
I know you don't.
No. I definitely don't.
Well, you do blame yourself for literally everything that happens in the world.
Yeah, it's because I was raised Catholic. I mean, it's all right there. So,
Casey Harold, that makes sense to everybody. We're not calling me Nick Sugar Daddy Jacobs. We're not doing that. That gives an awful connotation that we don't need. Okay.
I'm starting to believe that anything that happens after the 2-hour mark in the live stream is just like after midnight. You just consider it didn't happen.
Okay.
You're not responsible for anything you say or ask after the 2-hour mark in the live stream.
All right, then.
Well, the short answer about why is Mike like not like Tunyon? I just don't know what Pennell's situation is yet. I mean, maybe hopefully we'll get some more clarity in the next 24 hours. I mean, but with Tunyon, I've just been told to expect him back, that he will be on the roster and be back on the 53. Maybe Mike Pennell will too. Don't know. Maybe there's something more to it. So we'll find out. So
Nikki's saying I can be sugar baby now. I don't know what connotation that has with that either. I don't know, people. I'm not made of money over here. I know that. And I know that's what's supposed to be involved in sugar. But if you would like to donate to the Nick Jacobs Foundation that I will create at any moment, let me know.
Well, we'll definitely need to get your Venmo.
I don't know what that is, Matt. I don't have one of those.
Jakaya, how does the Chief wide receiver room compare to the rest of the NFL? I mean, I'll admit, I'm not educated enough to answer that because I have been so focused on the Chiefs that I can't tell you the depth of the rest of the NFL rosters. I can just tell you, I think the Chiefs wide receiver room is pretty deep. I think it's pretty good.
Every wide receiver room can be good until there's injuries.
As Mike Tyson would say, every wide receiver room is good until they get punched in the face.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they get punched in the face, but they may physically be able to do some things. I'll pull up the website and try to answer this quickly, but I don't know.
I know exactly which website you're going to now.
Yeah, as I taught you about it. You had no idea until then. You're like, oh, well, all right then. Let's see. No, they're not in the top 10. I would actually put them. Yeah, no, they've got a good wide receiving core. Terrible coach, but good. So Dolphins, I think, has a good 1, 2, 3. Actually, I have a good 4 too. Let's see. No on the Patriots. No on the Jets. The Ravens have a solid. They got a solid wide receiving group on those top three. I mean, Bengals, that 1-2 punch between Jamar and T, that's great in itself. And then they've got some good, solid role players. Browns, no. Steelers, maybe. I think the Texans in the next year, 2 years, if some of those guys develop, I think they've got a very sneaky room, very good room in that front. Jaguars, we'll see. Titans, no. Broncos is probably sneakier than people realize. Chiefs got a good, well-balanced room. Raiders are actually probably, but middle of the year, they may actually be sneakily good as well. Chargers they've got some work ahead of them, but Chargers are probably going to be in the top 10. Cowboys, up there, but they're not there right now. Giants are not there. Eagles is a stacked wide receiving group. Washington Commanders have a good, well-rounded group. Bears have a good wide receiving. Bears actually may have one of the top 3 wide receiving groups, but I don't. They're going to need a better quarterback to throw to them down the road here. We'll see on the Packers. If they didn't have suspensions, Vikings, I think, would be in better shape. No on the Falcons. No on the Panthers. Saints have a pretty good 1-2 punch. They actually get some good backups. The Bucs, when healthy, I think, have a heck of a top 5 receiving group. Rams probably top 10. Healthy potentially. And then Seahawks aren't bad. I mean, the Chiefs could easily be in the top 10. I think in terms of their 1 through 5, you could argue top 7.
Well, there was an in-depth answer and a very big yawn. I think we're keeping Nick up past his bedtime.
No, I won't be up for a handful more hours. I can't tell you how many, but I'm definitely going to try to be in bed before 1.
I'm not going to make it to 1, Nick. There's no doubt about that. Are you a bigger fan of Esapole or Ethan Driscoll?
Right now, Driscoll coming off whatever injury he had in the offseason. I think he had some more struggles up at training camp. And then after that appendectomy, I think that kind of compounded onto it and everything. So Essa's he's got great size, great athletic ability. So he's a little bit ahead in terms of health. But I mean, I like both of them if Driscoll can get back to who he was before all the injuries. Or, injury and the surgery.
And Patrick was asking about the thoughts on keeping 8 wide receivers. We talked about this, but the short answer is, I mean, they've got an injury that they need to deal with, and want to address the depth. But at least from what my expectations were, I don't feel like, Nick, that the 8 wide receivers has much of an impact on the defensive line. I thought they were going to keep 9 defensive linemen, and they did. Chiefs may just not have the depth that they want to right now at that spot.
Yep.
So we will see if they try to address it. I think they'll try. I don't know if they will be able to. Will Shields was a very good Chiefs offensive lineman. Casey Wigman. See, I'm getting closer to real time. I know you have no answer for Chris.
There he is. He's back now.
Oh, I was going to say I know you have no answer for Chris's question about the college players currently on your radar, because the season has barely started.
Pop it up, because I'm pretty sure Chris asks us every week at this point. If it's the first one thing, Chris asks us every week.
Chris, you're not going to get an answer until some freaking games have been played.
No, you're not even going to get it then, man. I got too much going on. I know somebody in the comment section asked about if I'm going to go to Texas high school football game during bye week. No, I don't think people understand what my job actually is. It's not Chiefs 24/7. Even when the Chiefs are on a bye week, I'm still going to be doing a Chiefs show, and I'm still going to be doing a high school football show and art on our air. So and still covering other sports going on in the Kansas City area. So just because you guys see me live Chiefs on the podcast and the Q&A, I've got about 18 other things that I do.
You just said that your job does not revolve around the Chiefs 24/7, and Bart is absolutely shocked.
Yeah, well, I mean, I get it, man. Even Mickey showed up because he couldn't believe the ridiculousness.
And Mickey was out playing golf.
Frozen again, or at least he is on my computer. Or did
no, I can hear you? Can you not hear me?
I got you now. You gotta. For people that don't know, I have a security thing on this laptop because it's a company laptop. So sometimes it will connect and disconnect, and so Matt may have a great connection for all I know, but I didn't hear him put words together that form sentences. It froze for a minute. So I couldn't join in the conversation.
Could be YouTube saying, "Hey, the live stream's gone 2.5 hours. You guys need to knock it off." Thoughts on the practice squad? Anybody special that you definitely want to see on the practice squad, Nick?
If you go check out my 53 on KSHB.com, I put all the practice squad potential players on there. But I mean, more than anything else, you're hoping Sapole can be on there. You're hoping Kevin Knowles can be on there. You're hoping you can get Cam Jones on there among some other people. You want to see Chris Oladokin on there, and like I'll put something up on Twitter here in a minute.
Yeah, and I did the same thing in my final 53. I had 17 practice squad players, including Chu Godric, because I would have him as the international exemption. And all the same guys, I agree. I mean, like Kevin Knowles, would love to see that. The one guy that I think I left off that I would seriously consider, especially after the game he had the other night, Jimmy Holiday. He really just continued to play for me, and once again, I mean, it was one of those guys that continues to get better through camp, and for that was pretty impressive. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Jimmy Holiday was also a tryout guy at rookie minicamp, just like Cooper McDonald. So
and Keyshawn Martin that ended up going to the Raiders and then joined the Chiefs a couple weeks ago again.
Keyshawn Smith has been pretty impressive to me too.
Yep, Smith. Martin, whatever.
we also Nate Matlack was one of those, and we liked him, and Chiefs brought him back in at the end of camp. So sometimes, Nick, we know what we're talking about.
I'm not gonna get too puff out my chest, Matt. Okay, we'll knock you down pretty quickly.
I mean, the fact that I've liked Cooper McDonald since rookie minicamp, and that dude made the roster. I'm gonna puff out my chest as much as I can on that, and if my chest ends up getting punctured, it's okay. I'll live with it.
All right.
Was that too dark?
Threw out some stuff out there in the universe that I hope doesn't happen.
Ryan, Naheem Hines, have any more juice for a third down back?
No, he doesn't. I'm sorry. I wish he did, but I'm sorry, Ryan. I wish I had better days for you.
There you go. Gosh, I wish I could. I wish I could read questions and do that and keep up with all the conversation, Nick. Because then when I get the jokes 15 minutes later, I'm really entertained.
Are you? Where are you at, anyways?
822.
822. Okay.
See, we're almost there.
We're never almost there.
We're almost there.
I just finally tell you I'm leaving.
And Brian Parrott dropping an Encyclopedia Brown reference. I love it. Why has there never been an Encyclopedia Brown movie series? That's my question.
I don't know, Matt. Give it time. They'll recycle everything.
Oh, Brandon, if I could get Sport Coffee to sponsor Chiefs Digest, we'd do that in a heartbeat.
They are aware that we are a fan of theirs. I know that. Rick Hendrickson saying most energy drinks are fake caffeine. Again, it's called Sport Coffee. It's not called Monster or Red Bull.
Nick is all about the Sport Coffee only, not the energy drinks.
Yeah, but people keep saying it's an energy drink. No, it's coffee in a can.
I am fairly certain that I'm pretty certain an energy drink would kill me, but Gary, has the live stream just gotten too dark tonight? Sorry.
I don't know, man. But I mean,
I'm gonna get one of those notifications that I've violated the YouTube policies again. Gary, do you feel the safeties need help this year? I mean, I like the Chiefs' 4 safeties that they have, but you're one injury away from having some concerns.
Yeah. We're not putting any negativity out here tonight. Matt's trying to find any negative vibe he can put out there in the universe to become a reality, whether it includes himself or the football team. And we're just not doing that. So I'm saying, hey, the safeties are going to stay healthy. They're all going to thrive. They're all going to do great. Everything's going to be super duper. And that's where we're at.
I have to keep it real. I mean, that's what I do, Nick. I keep it real.
You know, there was a skit on Chappelle's show called "When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong."
No, I did not know that. Does it ever? No, I have to go search that later.
Yeah, when keeping it real goes wrong.
All right. I mean, we're gonna. I mean, I'm now at 8:30, Nick, because we're just flying through the conversation here, and it's a great conversation. I mean, I do enjoy the conversation. Michael, do you see Brashard Smith getting more playing time on screens and sweeps?
Those will be his plays, along with them isolating him against receivers and throwing passes to him.
And getting him lined up on a linebacker that he can carve up and have for Thanksgiving lunch. Is that also too dark?
I mean, it is what it is at this
point.
Sorry,
I'm not. Ooh, Keandre I'm still never going to understand the Keandre Coburn letting him get away, but.
Well, and I'm going to be mean here for a moment, but there's 4 teams that have let him get away at this point.
And that's probably why the Chiefs also let him get away. So that will usually explain everything that you need to know.
He was Chiefs, Broncos, Titans, Raiders, and now he's back on the market again. And it's barely been 3 years at this point.
Yeah, and if that doesn't usually tell you about a player in the NFL, nothing will. So you can draw your own conclusions to that. Let's see. I'm doing last call here, so a second last call. Chris, I was wondering what you meant. I skipped your question the first time, Chris, because I did not know what you meant by the Chiefs taking a wide range of cheats with them to Sao Paulo. But Cleats, they're going to take them all. I mean, they're going to take all of they're going to be ready for anything, right, Nick? I mean, that's what equipment guys do.
Yeah, I mean, at least Alan Wright and them always talk about whenever they go up to St. Joe, luckily they're only an hour away. Or if they're up in River Falls, Wisconsin, they're 12 or 13 hours away, so they take everything. So what Alan Wright went through his entire life of River Falls, Wisconsin is the equivalent of what he would experience in Brazil. So they'll be taking everything possible that they're going to need for that time that they're down there.
Yep. Kathy asking about keeping the 4 running backs. I mean, I think they're going to keep 4 running backs. It might not be the same 4 running backs going forward, but they might have somebody else coming in. But I think 4 running backs will be the standard for the team for most of the season.
Yeah.
I don't know if us watching a series of Chappelle bits would not constitute a copyright violation, but
yeah, it'd be a lot of violations, a lot of inappropriate content from Chappelle as well.
Oh, Jackie, when do we go to 2 streams a week? Guess what? We're going to do that next week.
There's no we in this.
Well, it was just a royal we. I mean, I was including Jackie and everybody else in the we, So it wasn't I wasn't including you and me. It was all of us.
Matt out here thinking I'm an intern that he can sign up for more free work.
And if anything, it's going to be less work for you for free, because
tell me more about your idea.
Because it'll only be an hour on Tuesday, so I can't ask you to hang out for more than an hour.
That's what you say, Matt, but I know you.
I am going to
If people ask questions for 3 hours, you will be on here for 3 hours, man. I'm telling you, that's just who you are. You're a person that loves to give to the fans, and that's awesome. I'm not knocking that, but I'm saying, I know you. I know how you operate, man.
It's going to be full lightning mode, Nick. Just nothing but lightning mode. I might even have a clock on screen.
Matt, you literally said you were going to do lightning round like 2 hours ago, and we're still here at almost 9 o'clock. I know you got great intentions all the time. I know you do, but I'm telling you.
Sometimes I get distracted. There's no doubt about that.
I'm just saying.
Albert, we don't know what Brandon George's injury is exactly. Your mileage may vary. There have been players put on injured reserve like this for any number of injuries that may or may not exist. So I'm certain that there is a real injury of some sort. And I'm going to ask. We'll see if we find out what it was.
And Brian says that Matt needs a play clock. Brian, we could get Matt all kinds of clocks, and I don't know. I don't know if it'll work out.
You want Tano back?
I mean, I know people love reunions for the Chiefs and everything, but I kind of like to see him develop other people personally. So I'll bring him back tomorrow.
I mean, I like Tano, but just not sure if it's a great fit. Kathy, no need to be sorry. I mean, but how many tight ends stay? I mean, once Robert Tonyan comes back, I'm sure I think they'll keep 4. And I mean, unless there's something more about Jared Wiley's injuries and with his knee that we don't know, but would certainly be the case. I, at this point, Nick, see no more question marks.
Weston's making a statement about 2 pods.
Weston is making a statement.
Sorry, Weston. You get 1 Q&A for however long I have and a podcast after games. And the podcast is technically for my work. So that's part of my job.
So we'll see how it goes next week. Hopefully it works out well.
I'm excited to see who your guest is, Matt.
I'm not guaranteeing a guest every week.
Whoa.
I mean, I have a limited number of friends, Nick. I mean, I have you.
Wow. Tell me, everybody in the Cheese Media workroom is going to shoot you down.
Was that too dark? They might, and then there's people have conflicts. I mean, it's a thing. Did I miss Kathy's question? I don't.
Yeah, you have it up on the screen right now.
I was gonna say there we did. I thought we answered that. There you go. What are you guys yelling at me for?
I think Brandon's just surprised. Like he's like, "Oh wow, she's got a question." So Kathy must be active in the comment section, but doesn't ask questions a lot. So maybe that's why, man.
I appreciate you looking out for Kathy. I mean, I thought I just want to make sure I didn't like.
Brandon was looking out for Kathy. I'm just along for the real time journey, man.
I'm just glad that I didn't black out and miss something. So.
That's good. I'm very proud of you for that. Look at Matt putting out positive vibes in the universe here.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I've only been doing this for 12 hours today, so it's been a short day.
Who is Jody Mack? Chris is Jody Mack is a guest for the week of the Eagles game.
You know what? I've been a guest on Jody Mack's show, so he should be a guest for me sometime. So maybe
there you go.
There you go. So I like the way you think, Chris. That's a great idea. There's a lot of people whose shows that I have done. Now it's time for them to repay the favor. I like this.
Well, Matt's got that documented too.
Yeah, there you go. I wonder if Mick Schaefer would do the Q&A. I mean, you talk about me and Nick. Mick, we could really destroy the format.
Do you want me to text them and find out?
Nah, let's not and say we did.
Matt doesn't want to know the answer in real time.
Exactly. I don't want to be rejected in real time.
You wouldn't be rejected.
Ryan, I did not see your question about the available Jayhawk cornerbacks, so I apologize. I do have a Mizzou bias, but I will say this because Jacoby Bryant, right? Is that his name?
Kobe.
There you go. I couldn't remember he was the Jacoby or the Jacoby.
The other Bryant. Kobe Bryant.
I like Kobe Bryant. I'd be fine with him as a Chief.
Mick just popped on in the comment section. He just said, "Hi guys, I'm bored."
Well, I guess now he can turn me down for being on
Matt,
the Thursday the Thursday live Q&A.
You can ask Mick Schaefer, TV's Mick Schaefer, sports director at KSHB 41. You can ask him right now in real time if he'd be a Q&A guest for you.
There you go. Mick, will you ever do the Q&A on a Thursday night at probably 7? Maybe I can do it anytime you want to. I haven't figured out a time to do things on Thursday yet. So.
Oh, look, you just got your answer in real time. Man.
I'm even getting a screenshot of that so I can.
He sent you 3 things to confirm, man. Matt, you better get that. What an honor.
That is an honor. I mean, like I said, I'm definitely getting a screenshot because the screenshots are legally binding.
They are. What would you and Nick talk about on the show, Matt?
I mean, there's any number of things that we could talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could talk about Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about Chevy Chase movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would probably actually be most of the show.
What about Northwest Missouri State or Mill Valley?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No. We'd absolutely be talking about a little college ball and high school ball.
Nope.
And anybody else, I mean, volleyball thing. I don't know.
I wonder if there's any other KC media lurking around the comment section. Oh, mix that up Oklahoma State football. There you go.
There you go.
Everybody, give TV's Mick Schaefer a big hello in the comment section.
And a round of applause. Thank you.
Look at you doing the proper golf clap. I'm so proud of you.
Well, I think we've really driven this thing off the rails.
Really? You get a TV star, a 22-time Emmy Award-winning.
It's a lot of Emmys, isn't it?
Yeah. And you just want to leave all of a sudden?
Well, no, but...
Jackie, he's in the comment section. Hold on. I'm going to make that. I'm looking at their depth chart, and I'd recognize more names from the 2004 Oak Park yearbook. Oh, outstanding.
Nailed
Matt,
it.
why are you not putting these gyms up right now so people can join in this journey? Look at that. You got mixed KSHB 4 out there and everything. You see him on the Chiefs pre and post game, people. When you're home of the Chiefs.
We should do this. We need Nick and Matt in Chiefs talk in cars getting sports coffees.
But who's driving? Because I can only do one thing at a time. I can't do.
Oh, I can drive because I won't drink a sport coffee, so I can drive and you can enjoy the sport coffee.
Do I have to find all the questions? I mean, I'll keep us on time.
Well, then that would be for the best.
All right, outstanding.
Oh, all right. I think
you answered all the money questions, right? Or were there? Yeah, you answered all the money questions, right?
We answered the money question.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, Bobby, for the money question. You are the best. So, I wish I had anything more. I don't know about you, Nick. I am now going to enjoy some 2-hour-old Chick-fil-A.
Really? It's only 2 hours old?
Actually, it's 8:48, so it's more like 2 hours and 55-minute-old Chick-fil-A. So,
whether it's a Q&A or in Matt's dinner, Matt is gonna eat his Chick-fil-A. Not even in real time when he got it. It's gonna be after the fact.
No, I didn't want to eat it in front of everybody. That would just be rude.
At least you're consistent, Matt.
There you go. Everyone, thank you so much for having an entertaining time while we waited for not the schedule, but the Chiefs roster to come out, no matter how many times I said the schedule coming out. Thank you for putting up with all of my sleep deprivation dementia. Thank you for TV's Mick Schaefer for joining us.
You can watch him in just a little bit at about 10:20 on KSHB 41 if you're in town in Kansas City. And you can even watch it on KSHB.com because we'll stream it too. So you can see him on there doing the sports ball stuff.
There you go. Thanks to Nikki for volunteering to be my unpaid intern.
I like how you made sure you emphasize that it was an unpaid internship.
We're definitely underscoring the unpaid part. I guess. Hey, there you go. We've got 41 is the mic coming up this weekend. I guess we're doing it on Sunday. When are we doing it, Nick?
Yeah, let's do our normal Sunday. We're back in routine right now for this week.
But we're gonna have to do it at a weird time. Because Sunday is practice day because the Chiefs are practicing Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So we'll have media availability at 11:45 on Sunday morning.
All right, we'll figure it out.
That you'll have to send somebody to go do.
No,
I hope Mick has that. I hope Mick has that on the schedule.
I put it down as a TBA on the schedule. So, Matt Foster and I will probably end up doing that. So I'll probably see you there, and then we'll figure it out after the fact because I'll have sound off after that we do.
You think I could afford a parking pass at Arrowhead?
Wow.
I think I'm made of money?
Wow. All right, then.
Oh, we'd take care of you. Like I said, I mean, I at the very least, I pay people in gift cards, Nick.
I think what I love is you started this show at 6 o'clock and you're still going to be done around 9 o'clock, which is your normal time.
That this would not have happened had it not been for the Chiefs putting out their schedule at like 7 o'clock.
That's what you tell yourself, Matt.
Because I thought the Chiefs were going to have their schedule out by 6 at the latest.
That's what you tell yourself, but we both know.
That is what I'm telling myself, and I believe it in my heart. All right. Everybody, I'll get your plans later for next week, but yeah, tentatively we are trying to go next week to the 2-show format and make it all nice and concise and lightning roundy and everything. So
again, I emphasize Matt is going to a 2-form.
It's the royal once again the royal we. So yes,
trying to rub me into another thing.
Only on Tuesdays would I ever ask you to volunteer your time, because I know Thursdays you are much too busy serving the sports needs of the Kansas City people and those who stream online and elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. You're not wrong, Matt.
I am not wrong. All right, I'm going to hit end stream before we really get into trouble. But thank you, great crowd tonight. Incredible numbers, so thank you so much. Hit the like, all those things that I can't remember how to say and pronounce right now.
Oh yeah,
you're all the best. So at this point, I almost feel like that this is how I get when I have too much cold medicine, Nick.
Well, and I got a promo just for you.
Oh well, there you go.
Send us out.
We can go out in style.
Everybody, go by now.
Have a great week, and we'll talk to you later.
It's all things Chiefs right here. 41 is the mic, a Chiefs podcast on your home of the Chiefs. Listen now wherever you get your podcast.